Yes, guys, you know what time it is. It's your boy David at the Irish Hotspur, Ireland's #1 Spurs fan, bringing you basically, North London Derby. What's gone wrong? That's the title of the show, and basically we just have a few slides to bring you that we put together, maybe just to explain to you tactically what went wrong, guys. So hopefully everyone does enjoy it. I don't know how long we're going to be. Probably not too long tonight. Hopefully maybe 45 minutes, hour max. Unless you guys just flood us with questions, no problem. We'll sit here for as long as you need, like we did last night. Mammoth stream last night, guys. 5 hours long. A lot of angry people with a lot to say. I have to say I enjoyed every single minute of it. Thank you so much to everybody who tuned in. A lot of people tuned in from start to finish, which is absolutely insane and amazing. But of course, we're brought, I'm joined by co-host here, Jack Kanicki today. Of course, who puts all this together, guys. So make sure you put in the chat and just give Jack a bit of a thank you. But Jack, how are you, my man?
Keeping well, Dave. Keeping well. I mean, it's gonna be a kind of a version of maybe what Jamie Carragher, did. Kind of match of the day, explaining what went wrong with Spurs. How it was all kind of just wrong tactically, even the players, as well. But I would just say, it's going to be coming from a Spurs fan this time instead of a Scouser, and maybe less of a high-pitched voice, you also might say as well, Dave. So hopefully, people might enjoy it, and hopefully also people might learn something. I would also say, Dave, maybe we can kind of just wipe our hands clean of maybe the North London Derby after watching this show is what I would say. Just be able to be kind of like, it's not going to ever be repaired, maybe what just happened on Sunday, but you might just feel like, you can have a little bit of a resolution to it, a bit of resolve, I would say, after it all. So hopefully that's what you may provide. And as well, feel free to, at any point, interrupt us with any questions, whatever you guys need, maybe your thoughts on what went wrong. It's going to be very interactive.
No, 100%. And look, after this show, the North London Derby is, well, on this channel anyway, it's going to be put to bed, not in our minds or our hearts, but, in terms of content-wise, we're putting final nail in the coffin in it today and moving on. And it is just a bit to show you kind of tactically what went wrong. But before we do bring in the Harris Army, I'm just going to, Jack, if you just bring up a bit, like just a bit of the shape of just what's to come, just to maybe keep them interested. But and then we'll get into some of the comments and welcome some of the Harris Army. Just a bit like this. That's what's to come there, guys. So just make sure you stay tuned and see what Jack is going to explain on it. We have Dermot Tantrum. He says, hey, hi, guys. Great stream last night. Watch from start to finish. What went wrong? Nuno, no clue. Højbjerg, too defensive in the first half. Delhi, no show, changed the system too late. Big up, you guys. You both are legends. Come on, you Harris Army. Big yourself up, Dermot, my man. I hope things is good with you, my man. A great call-in last night on the show, I have to say. First time call-in, absolutely brilliant. Golden Cock says, flat cap, Euro talk raid. Team selection went wrong, gave us no attacking options from the bench if we went behind, apart from Hill. Good point, my man. I love the flat cap. Euro talk raid. Cuva99 says, what went wrong? Ownership, chairman, manager, selection, players, tactics, and clearly some LSD in the lasagna. Yeah, it seems like that. It seems like that, my man. Derek Hutchinson says the Harris Army rules. You rule, my man. Big yourself up. D-Trex K says, big up, guys. Loving the work and passion. I just want to say I'm getting to the point where I would tell the fans to storm inside the stadium or training pitch and try find Levy and force them to sell the club.
Yeah.
Look, I don't condone violence, but it could be the only way. But even then, they probably won't listen to you. They'll probably just bring you to court, put you in prison, and carry on what they're doing. So I probably wouldn't advise the D-Trex game, but I understand the frustration.
See where you're coming from.
If you're at that, I wonder what the Eagles really willing to do, Cuva99 says, this season may be going to hell, but at least I've got my Xmas present worked out. Nuno's 15 favorite throw-ins. It's going to be dynamite. Big up, Cuva. I was just cracking the jokes. I tell you what, he's cheered me up the last 2 days. I have to say, along with the Harris Army. Golden Cock says LSD and lasagna. Levy could do with some of that. That's for sure. Although, who knows what an enlightened vision of him would be. Who knows exactly, my man. JC's in the building. What went wrong more like, or what went right more like? Yeah, 100%, my man. 100%. Not much, man. Zanuska Ramshunder says, not even sure where to begin with that question. I know. David says, time to learn. Jack and Dave are better than Cara. Thank you, my man. Appreciate that. Aaron Fernandez says, good evening. Good evening, Mr. Fernandez. Hope things are well. Tom Harris says, good evening, lads. Big up, Tom Harris. I don't actually know if you're a relation of mine, to be honest with you. Of course, I share the great last name of yours. Great names of true warriors, my man, true leaders. Don't know where you're from. Let me know. Do let me know where you're from, my man. Jason Wales says, Nuno out. I know it's early, but the stats are horrific, even if you ignore the last 3 results. Fair enough, my man. Fair point. Sue Smith says, evening, David and Jack, propping the old eyes open with matchsticks tonight. Dig yourself up, Sue Smith. Dig yourself up. Absolutely love it. Great comment. Shamu Van Spurs says, pie fix and Irish Hotspur. Let's go. Big yourself up, Shamu, my man. Hope things are well. I'm still in the process of making you a mod, my man, as soon as I get it figured out. Paro Miguel Escobardo, hey, good evening, Harris Army, Flat Cap Army. Big yourself up, my man.
Legend. My legend. Paro Miguel.
The regular says, big up you guys working all the time. The players need your passion. Big up the regular. I really appreciate that. Look, me and Jack just want to try and put out daily content for you guys, a bit of a mix of everything, and hopefully you guys are all enjoying it. But big yourself up. Chris Benoit says, get Ancelotti once he gets sacked. Is he not the Madrid manager that got bet tonight by Sheriff?
That, and also he apparently is supposed to be better with, like, you know, world-class players of a certain sort. You know, didn't really do too hot at Everton either. You know, I kind of think maybe Spurs are, you know, maybe a bit similar in that regard. I think we're a lot better than Everton, but you just kind of think, you know, with what even Rafa Benitez has just done, you know, maybe just shows that maybe Ancelotti is, you know, despite the class that he represents with the T and whatnot, probably fallen a bit off the edge.
100%, just giving another people more of a sneak peek of what's to come. There's more people in the building. Manza, big up. I haven't forgotten. It is your birthday, my man. Happy birthday, Manza. I hope things
Come on.
Well. And we have Crystal THSC. He says, what's happening, boys? Big up, my man. I hope things are well. Look, hopefully you enjoy the show, Crystal, my man. I hopefully you enjoy the show. Apocalypse Now says, evening, gents. Big yourself up, Apocalypse Now. Tom Harrison, I live in the States, but I'm British. Don't think there's a relation. But who knows nowadays? Yeah, 100%. Who knows? Who knows? Maybe someone threw something in somewhere and, you know, forgot about. We could be related. Who knows? My
the Irish have traveled far and wide, Dave. They've traveled far and wide. So there it is. You know, maybe so.
Especially the great surname of the Harris, by the way. Great name. Love it.
Natural.
Max says, come on, you Spurs. We got to bounce back. That we do. Tal says, Nuno is out of his depth, but no one to bring in to replace him or stupid enough to take the job. That's the problem. Who's going to take the job? You know, even that Harry Potter's up opening his mouth again, you know, I don't want to risk my rising reputation under Levy. Oh, now I know why Ty from AFT wants them relegated. Saurev Patak says, good evening. Big yourself up, Saurev.
Legend.
Golden Fritz, Negrezimo. Big up you two lads. I think I got that spot on. I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I think that's the best way to go about it. Cool name as well. It's Golden Fritz. Cool name, I would say. Very, very cool name. Honestly, very, very nice.
Big yourself up. Routimus 2 says, lost the game due to lack of leaders on the pitch. Sacking the coach won't change a thing. Yeah, that's also another fair point. It is another great point. Like, look, how many managers are going to go through and keep letting these players throw them under the bus? This is why I'm genuinely, like, I don't know where to go from here right now. I'm genuinely lost at the minute.
Wouldn't even get Sheriff FC's manager at this rate, you know, Dave.
Look, at least they play like a team. Lee Crisp says, hey, guys, big up Lee Crisp. The disabled team's in the building. Hi, Jack, Dave. How are you? We're all good, my man. Hope things are well. Not good, of course. We lost the North London Derby, but, you know, hope things are well, my man. Hope things are well. I've come out all morning yesterday. I was mourning up until the fan show, and you guys really helped me. Hugh says, appreciate the work you guys are putting into these shows. Now, Spurs could follow suit. No, look, I appreciate it, but look, I also appreciate all you guys tuning in. Me and Jack can put all the effort we want in. If you guys aren't tuning in, smashing that like button, sharing the streams like you do, commenting, you know, in the chat, supporting us, you know, with super chats and everything else, it's absolutely nothing. So you guys are the ones that actually, you know, you're the secret ingredient. You're the two that really makes these shows. So big up, Hugh. We really appreciate the comment, my man. Mr. Edwardson's in the building. Hey, folks, on 4Ks. Big yourself up, my man. I hope things are well. We have Alex says, evening, guys. Nuno got tactics massively wrong. Still think we need to give him more time. Well, Jack's going to get into the tactics, my man. And then Tottenham Tantrum with a big super chat. Big up, Dermot, my man. Too kind. I really appreciate that.
Big ball and Dermot. Love it,
drinks from me, guys. You both deserve it, guys. You are both legends. Think there needs to be more than LSD. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army.
Don't mix it with the drinks that you're giving us, Dermot. Don't mix it with the drinks that we're giving it. You know, that's something maybe for another night. Maybe when we're cooking lasagna together, Dermot, maybe we'll throw in something a bit special in there. But Dermot, honestly, really, really nice of you. Really, really generous of you as well, Dermot. Really appreciate it, actually. And also, I know Dermot, like I said before, he's a warrior, Dave.
He could have got
Sorry,
himself, a crate of bottles for the Ireland games next week. You definitely need them for the Ireland games, that's for sure. But no, look, Dermot, my man, I really appreciate it. Look, we'll definitely have when international break is coming up. Look, not that the content's going to stop. We're still going to produce as much content as we can during the international break, just to keep you guys sane, because we do know how boring it is. And look, maybe the international break's probably coming at the right time. Hopefully, look, it's a massive hope, but hopefully maybe we could beat Aston Villa at the weekend. And then once we beat Villa, go into the international break, realise how shit the international break is and how much we really love our club and Tottenham Hotspur. I can't wait for it to come back and go in after the international break with renewed optimism. That's what I want to take from it. But big up, Dermot.
Dermot, big ballin', Dermot, big ballin', brother. You're actually really Dermot. And as well, like I said, yeah, I mean, you're a brother to David and I, and also you're an absolute warrior as well, Dermot. And also, I can't wait for your show coming up soon. Really can't wait. This guy, honestly, is a real work ethic. This guy is real work ethic as well, Dave. So that's what I'll tell you. Dermot, absolute legend. Really appreciate you, brother.
Yeah, big yourself up, Dermot. Really appreciate it. Way, way too kind. And
come on, your Harris Army, and Shauna Blaney.
Absolutely unbelievable. Honestly, Shauna, absolutely unbelievable. It's good to see you, by the way. It's really good to see you. Honestly, I don't know what to say. You have me stumped. But she says, been a while. Big up, lads. Don't know where to go from here, but you guys are always consistent. Maybe Spurs can learn from you guys. Look, the only thing I'd probably be able to offer to the dressing room, bar my skills as a footballer, is probably a bit of motivation. I'd love to give them a team talk maybe before the game or even at halftime. Look, Shauna, I don't know what to say to you. Look, at the Arsenal game was absolutely abysmal. It hit a new low. I'm not going to lie. It took me a while to get out of bed yesterday. I was in mourning after it. And look, all I can say, Sean, is look, hopefully we can beat Aston Villa, international break, and then go on a run after the international break and try and salvage something. Hugo Lloris has come out today in defence of Nuno. Basically said we need to give him more time on the training pitch, this, that, and the other. When I read it, I'm kind of like, yeah, but how many times have I heard this? When are you guys actually going to step up? When are you guys going to step up, And look, I don't know where we go from here, Shauna. I really don't. Look, you could get rid of Nuno, but who's going to take the job? When you have people like Harry Potter at Brighton turning down the job because he doesn't want to risk his rising reputation on the Nuno, who wants the job? It's all well and good throwing out like names like Conte, Ten Hag, Zidane's about, Graham Potter. You can throw all the names you want. But how many of them want to actually come in and work under the regime we're under? Very, very few. The Conte boat sailed when we didn't want to pay money for him. Look, it's. I really don't know where to go from here, Sean. I'm actually out of ideas. Usually, me and Jack, we always try to find solutions. We'll rage, but then we also always try to find solutions after and stuff like that. But we've rattled our brains together. We genuinely to try and maybe give a bit of direction. We have none. I'm actually lost, Shauna. Jack, what do you want to say to Sean? And by the way, Sean, I just want to say quickly, you are way, way, way too kind. I really, really do appreciate it. I really, really do. You're way too kind to us, though, but thank you so much.
I mean, Shauna, we've come up with a new series. Maybe, I bet you probably have seen it once or twice, Shauna. It's kind of, win or learn, credit to our very, our own philosopher from Brian C. He said, after defeats like this, it's win or learn. You might even say, Shauna, this shows might be a version of that, but really appreciate the support for you just saying, yeah, we're trying to be consistent, trying to continue to give you guys content as much as we can, but also like, it's not just any old content, at the end of the day, David, we are trying to do something new almost every day. We have different types of shows that come with different types of settings, different types of questions and everything and whatnot. And Shauna, I really appreciate as well that you've recognized that. I really do appreciate that. And also as well, like really, maybe one day, who knows, might be Nuno, might be even a player that will tune in for Stats with Jack, or even tune in for, even, a Harris Army breakdown of, a certain tactic or not, or even as well, especially David's previews. David comes up with fantastic questions for all the previews as well. All I can say is maybe hopefully the players might just tune into some of those, just so they can get a bit of, just a bit of wherewithal about what the match might unfold like. But Shauna, really, honestly, as always, really do appreciate you. And it's been a long time. I bet you've just been watching maybe from the sidelines. If you have been, really do appreciate the support that you continue to give. It's honestly unbelievable. Really do appreciate it. You're one of the many, 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 many queens of the Harris Army. There are a lot of queens of the Harris Army. As always, plenty of queens here. And so just really want to say, really do appreciate you. And also, it's always Very, very generous of you, Shauna. Very, very, very generous of you. And I just want to say, really appreciate also you just recognizing, the support, recognizing the stuff that David and I are trying to come out with every week, trying to do something a bit different. We just feel like, David and I have to come up with something a bit different every day, just that maybe we can maybe test our own selves, maybe try to come up with kind of thought provoking things and whatnot as well. Even try today, Shauna, we're trying to come up with something. It's a bit of a Jamie Carragher match of the day, except this time it has a little bit less of a Scouse accent, maybe
Bring
attached to it.
Sports to YouTube. That's what we're doing.
More of a monotone American accent in my regard, Shauna. So really do appreciate you. Really do appreciate you as always. And like I said, Shauna, you're one of the many, many queens of the Harris Army, and the queens of the Harris Army really do lift this channel up. They really do lift this channel up. They really are all legends. And so just want to say, really do appreciate you. I absolutely appreciate you. And just want to say thank you for recognizing the support, and thank you for recognizing the consistency, and also everybody as well. Please check out Shauna on YouTube. I know she has her own channels that she runs as well.
She's also three channels. There is.
She's very much in the YouTube game as well. She's very much in the YouTube game as well. So I just say, everybody says it right there. Just look up that beautiful name right there, Shauna Blaney. It just rolls right off the tongue. It just type it into the YouTube search bar and just find it right there, and subscribe to all her channels and check out her content as well. But Shauna, again, from one to another, really do appreciate you, and I really do appreciate the generosity that you always show. And also, maybe long time no see, but I bet you've just been watching from the sidelines like a lot of people do, and really do appreciate you recognizing that.
I was just going to say, look, a long time, no see, and I hope things are well with you. I hope everything's been good. Hopefully you've been out enjoying life, maybe with some of the restrictions maybe being lifted. And it's good to see you back. And I really sincerely hope you were doing well, and it's good to see you back. And look, I just want to say, look, no matter how big, how small, Super Chats really do keep these channels alive, especially channels that don't have sponsorships, that are trying to pave their way into YouTube and maybe offer content and stuff like that. It really does keep these channels alive, and you've no idea how much it really, really helps. So I really appreciate Shauna and Dermot as well, but everybody else who continues to support us, who have. It's absolutely unbelievable. And look, I know there's people out there that can't, but even them people who are constantly liking the stream, sharing them, getting people to subscribe and everything else, it's absolutely amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Shauna, seriously, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. You're an absolute gem.
I know they can learn a lot from you, though, as well, Shauna. I know they can learn a lot from you as well. I'm pretty sure practically anybody in the Harris Army, anybody that's a queen of the Harris Army as well, Shauna, can certainly learn from you. Honestly, these players need a walloping from all of us, including you as well, including David as well. So there you go, Shauna. Again, really appreciate you. Really, really legendary. Really, really very nice of you.
What a legend.
Dermot, big baller again. Very good. Dermot, I don't know, maybe he had a bit of the generous lasagna in this case. He had a very much a bite of the generous lasagna. Maybe he wants some money
on the Champions League tonight, Jack.
Maybe so, Dermot. Maybe so.
Maybe Shauna did too.
The big up. Dermot says, we can't go down the road off sacking managers. That's a disaster waiting to happen. What needs to be done is a proper protest against Enoch and Levy. There rips this, and then we can rip the soul and DNA off our club. The spirit of Bill Nick has gone. Yeah, as well. Even the way that Bill Nick has been treated, as we all know, like he honestly took forever him to even be recognized for like the foundation that you might say that he built there. I know you probably know way more about it than I do. I know Philip knows way more about this than I do. I know Ellie knows way more about this than I do. But all I can say is this club has not done a good job about honoring maybe the people that have built the foundation, built the basis, built the history, you might say, of this club. And maybe you're also right as well, Dermot. I really don't think that, sacking another manager could be the answer. I don't think it's an answer at all. Am I still, though, questioning Nuno's tactics? Am I still questioning how Nuno went about this? Yes. And I think we're kind of crazy not to. I think you have to still question what the manager did, because we might highlight this today. There were certain instructions that Nuno put out today that we will highlight that just simply he got wrong, and he admitted that he got wrong. He raised his hand, but maybe like David said before, Dermot, a lot of these players have yet to raise their hand and say, take responsibility as well. They always talk about the squad saying, oh, we'll do better. Why don't they say, I'll do better? I'm still waiting for that from certain players. I'm still waiting for that. So Dermot as well, though, really, it's just really, I don't know what, generous bite of lasagna you have. Maybe you had a bit of that, very special lasagna that was mentioned before. But Dermot, really, really pick yourself up. Really big time balling, Dermot. I absolutely love you and appreciate you, brother, as well as always. Appreciate you. Dave, you might be on mute.
My bad, my bad. Look, it is a disaster waiting to happen. Look, I made a comment before Mourinho got sacked. A few months before Mourinho got sacked. If we go down the route of changing the managers and not the playing squad, we're going to end up like Arsenal Football Club, and that is the way we're going. That is the way we're going. But is Nuno the right man? Look, we've brought in Juan de Ramos from Sevilla. Okay, won the League Cup, but we were in the relegation zone when he got sacked, and then Harry Redknapp took over. You had AVB, he was dross. You had Santini there for a while. He was absolutely crap. You know what I mean? So it's a fine line. It's a fine line. Look, I genuinely have no answers. The only answers I have is find them players 2 weeks' wages and make them get the tube to the game and from the game and start listening to what fans really have to think of them. And maybe it might book up their ideas a little. And he says, disaster waiting to happen. What needs to be done is a proper protest. Yeah, look, there is protest being organised for the Villa game on Sunday. So if anyone is around, make sure you do get down there and join that. And look, the push and run football, Dermot, the football that we all enjoy watching Tottenham growing up playing, seems to be gone, my man.
Yep.
Seems to be gone. Hopefully we can get it back, but who knows?
And we haven't traded it for trophies either, Dave. We haven't traded it for trophies. No. We apparently, and I was victim of this, Dermot, and I've said this before. I said, I want winning football at this club. I'm starting to realize I was completely wrong, Dermot. I just feel like we have to go back to the push and run. We have to go back to what Bill Nick founded at this club, which is just attractive, entertaining football that's for the fans, for the club, for the people, you might say, for the everyday hardworking man. The everyday hardworking man, Dave, they want to see attractive football. And I just feel like we're just missing that. And I've started to realize that I was wrong about that. I really did. And so, Dermot, I really do feel like we are splitting really far apart from the foundations, the basis that Bill Nick built. Really do agree.
No, it definitely seems like that. That's for sure. But big yourself up, Dermot. Really appreciate the support. We'll just welcome a few more people in here quickly. We have PAS 13, Paul Always Spurs. Big yourself up. Who else have we got here? We've got Mr. Simon, number 7. Hope things are well with you. We've got Jason Weld. Big up, Jason Weld. Kenneth Tottenham Hotspur. Hope things are well, my man. It's all good. Big yourself up. Who else have we got here? Let me see. Darrell Denton, Dean Webb. Hope things are well with you guys. Timo Mookie. Good, big up, my man. Hope things are keeping well. Who else have we got here? We've got Rob Coyne in the building. Big up, Rob Coyne, my man. Adam's in. Big up, Adam. Hope things are well with you, lad. Who else have we got here? We've got Seb.
Celebrating the old birthday for a while. Adam, Dave, you skipped over that. Adam's birthday as well. I would just say, I'll assume Geburtstag. Zum Monza und zum Adam as well. So there you go, everybody. Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Adam. Hopefully you're celebrating it, with something, Adam. Hopefully maybe a bit of cake, maybe a bit of something special, maybe a special lasagna seems to be the thing as well tonight. Maybe a certain special lasagna that you have, Adam. But Adam as well, and even just joining us on your birthday as well. Really, Adam, really do appreciate you. Really do appreciate you. We do have a good show lined up for you, Adam. We don't like to disappoint you as well. I know you have very fine taste, Adam. I know you have very fine taste in your football. So, Adam, also as well, I just want to say very, very happy birthday to you. And also as well as Monza, very, very, very happy birthday to both of you as well. Great birthday, I would say. I mean, right before October, during that beautiful time of the month, the transition to fall, from autumn, I would say, from summer to autumn kind of range, at least over here in New York, it's one of the most beautiful times of the year. It's a great birthday as well. Great day to have a birthday, but also as well, Adam, thank you for joining us. Happy birthday.
Yeah, big up, Adam. Happy birthday, my man. How old are you, Adam? Let me know. Do let me know. I think Manza, he said he was 34 today, so big up, Manza. David says, very generous, Harris Army, big yourselves up. I will get to
everybody throwing the birthday celebrations as well. Give everybody a big happy birthday to these two as well. So everybody in Harris Army, you're implied. I not only encourage you, I almost demand you guys give them all a big birthday happy wish as well. Happy birthday wish, to them as well. Really, really big them 100%. Up.
Yeah, make sure everyone really gives them a good happy birthday. If it was any of your birthdays, we'd all want to make you feel special, so make sure you give them a big happy birthday. Jason, give me 1 minute. I will get to that. I just want to welcome a few more people in, if that's okay. Oliver Hamilton's in the building. Mark Robinson, hope things are well. Chris is in. Pete DeYeda, hope things are well. Jason Bell, my man, hope things are well. Jason Bell, big up. Who else have we got here? Paro Miguel Escobardo's in. We have Blake Darcy's in the building. Delboy is in the building. Light Work, Jerry. A lot of
Big
them
up,
tuning
Jerry.
in. A lot of them tuning in. I don't think I've missed anyone. I don't think there's anyone I haven't said hi to that's in the comments. So big yourselves up. Jason Wade or Jason Whale. Big up, Jason Whale. Really appreciate it. He says, take a dartboard and one dart. 20 managers' names blindfolded shot whilst board is spinning. Still, it would be more successful than Spurs' manager search. Honestly, look, you could put Bear in the Big Blue House, Barney, Baby Bop. You could put whoever you want on there. They probably still won't come in. They're probably getting paid more to do Barney the dinosaur and all that than what they will do in the Spurs job, and they don't want Daniel Levy to ruin them either. Look, honestly, man, I just hope there are big names on the board. I don't want like Eddie Howe, Sam Allardyce, and manager names like that, because that's what's floating around at the minute out there in the market. But no, look, I couldn't agree more with you. Just blindfold one dart, just spin it around, boom, and whoever comes up, look, I just don't want to go through another manager search. The last one hurt way too much. You were getting names like Conte banded around and Pochettino before the season ticket renewals. Then the season ticket renewals happen. Then it comes out, no, we're not going for them, this, that, and the other. Fonseca, we went through so many managers. You build yourself up, and then you're like, no, it's not happening. I can't go through another one, Jason. I can't. But Jack, you want to say that to Jason Whale? Big up,
Yeah,
Jason.
I mean, honestly, I'm actually looking forward. Pick up Jason. Well, I'm looking forward to maybe even seeing that, spinning dartboard and just seeing, how much more success we would have with someone like that. I would say even at this rate, he probably would just say that's even how Enoch and Levy probably go about it. They just pick, the cheapest managers, that's spinning around, and they probably blind themselves. Maybe had a few, maybe, I don't think they're, because we know, Dave, they're not men at the blue collar. So they're probably not drinking beers. They're probably having a bit of champagne with each other and then just blindfoldly tossing, those darts at the board. And hopefully they might land on something like a Sheriff FC manager, but we all know they won't. They definitely will land on something else. Even when they land on the right manager, I would say Jason Whale, they probably then just say, no, we have to do a redo. That's, that's too good of a manager for the club. Too much attacking football, even, they might say. So all I can say, Jason Whale, is that's a great comment. That's a great comment. And, I want to give Nuno maybe another week, maybe another 2 weeks. I feel like maybe I am being a bit harsh. I probably was, I would say the most kind to him, even the nicest to him, maybe the most optimistic towards him, especially with all the stats with Jack we've been doing, Dave, with even also the even the Nuno report that we came out with months and months ago, right as we just hired him as well. We really broke down what made Nuno a good manager potentially for this club. It's not that I've been a bit let down. It's just that, it's just the cracks are maybe, starting to appear. The cracks are starting to appear. It has a lot to do with the players, though, Jason Whale. At the end of the day, it's certainly the players that are a common denominator. But I am starting to question maybe Nuno's tactics. And that's what we're going to break down here today for you, Jason. We're going to break down the tactics. We're going to break down what the players did wrong. And we're also going to break down a bit what Nuno got wrong. But at the same time, Nuno's humility and at least admitting what he got wrong, I will say, is something the players would never do.
100%. But big up, Jason, my man. Really appreciate the support. Top bloke. And great comment, I have to say. He did give me a little chuckle there. Big up, my man. And then just want to take this comment here.
Would miss the dartboard.
Sean Blaney says, need the players to take responsibility for their performance against Arsenal. Lloris is the only player to speak out. Is unacceptable. The fans deserve more than that. Look, Sean, I'm actually at the point I don't even care whether they're speaking out or, well, I do care because do you know what it is? I've heard all these apologies before. I've heard them after the Zagreb game in the build-up North London Derby last year. We're going to put it right. And we went out and played shit. You know what I mean? I've heard it all before. I just actually now want them to stop speaking and actually just put the energy that's coming out of their mouth into their body and actually produce it on the pitch. That's all I want. It's not hard. It's not much to ask for. I don't even want the apologies anymore. I just want performances, Sean. That's where I'm at. I'm sick of them in the press the whole time.
It's all talk from them. Shauna. They're so great at, like, David has even said this plenty of times before. They're so great at coming out in the press and saying, it's the squad, we'll make it right. They're honestly they're like diplomats, they're like politicians, Dave, when it comes out to coming out. But then when the ball actually gets kicked off, when the ball starts rolling, they all capitulate and it all just shows their true colors. So, at this rate, they're honestly world-class liars to a degree sometimes, Dave, and I might even go that far.
I agree. I agree with you. But look, guys, we are going to get into it. We're going to stop teasing you. But look, before we do get into it, make sure everyone smashes that like button. It really, really does help with the YouTube algorithm. Helps push the the videos out to more people and stuff like that. You know, make sure you are smashing that subscribe button as well. The big push for 2.3K is on. We're at 4.3K is on. We're at 4.28. So if there's any 20 people in and around the show that do feel like smashing that subscribe button, please do. And look, why not help support us with a super chat? You know, it's like I explained before, it's a massive, massive help for the channel. You know, look, I've said it before. I'm in a bakery. There's one cheese, or there's one cinnamon swirl left, and there's 3 people in the queue waiting for it. Well, not even waiting for it, but there's 3 people in the queue. My legs start getting trembly. I start getting nervous. I'm like, what if they order it? What if they order it? You know, I'm going to be fuming. So I just, call over the baker. I'm like, here, look, I paid double. Just give me it. I don't want to give them the chance of getting it. And that's what a super chat does best. It just helps you skip the queue. But look, not everybody is in a position to do it. Don't worry. We know that. And I will keep bringing everyone's comment up as much as we can. Sometimes it hots up, sometimes it doesn't. But no matter what, we'll keep bringing the comments up. And look, Kuva, big up Kuva for the super chat, my man. Really appreciate it. He says the season was a write-off. The second our ridiculous manager search and director of football appointments were made. I honestly don't care who we hire. It's all comedy. Yeah, it's starting to get like that, my man. It's starting to get like that. Look, one thing I will say is I'll be honest, I think I'll always care who we hire as manager. But at the same time, I'll always find it within me to give them a bit of a chance anyway. That's just the sort of guy I am. I'm not going to sit there before they're appointed or when they're appointed and go mad about it and whatever. Well, even if I didn't like it, I'd give out about it, but I'd still give them a chance and see what they can offer to our club and stuff like that. But yeah, it's I don't want to go through another manager search, but yeah, look, the thing is, in the summer, we should have the manager in place before pre-season, get the ideas in, get the players in, give them a full pre-season to work with, and let's go into the season. It didn't really happen like that, so it was very disappointing, I have to say, Kuva. And you were absolutely spot on there, my man. Jack, do you want to say anything to Kuva before we kick it off?
Yeah, Kuva, we just weren't that kind of, we're never going to be that kind of channel, to be honest, to, predict the downfall of Spurs, without any basis, for it to happen. That's all I can say. We were never that kind of channel. In fact, like I said, we gave that, a huge scout report to a degree, or huge kind of build up to maybe what Nuno could accomplish here. We wanted to say, Nuno's backstory, what he's done well, maybe what he's done wrong. We hit it all. And we were just trying to give you maybe the full synopsis on what Nuno is. Nuno is starting to show a bit of cracks, like I said before, Kuva. But I think if there were to be another manager this season, I would say we will do it all over again, David and I. Maybe we're that silly, maybe we're that crazy, maybe we're that delusional. But I just don't like to, wish downfall on the club before it happens, Dave. It just seems a bit crazy. It's like predicting something bad to happen without any basis at all. That's all I would say is, it's how I feel about it, Kuva. We'll do it all over again. If we had another manager, we'd do it all over again. So maybe, you probably saw that episode that we gave on Nuno. But, like I said, we're just going to continue to, maybe see the club how it is. And we're only going to try to be the most optimistic and the most, the most optimistic about the club we can. But especially in times like this, it's almost impossible to be. So that's why we're going to break down maybe what went wrong. And like we said, we always are trying to learn at the end of the day, Kuva. We're trying to learn how we can bounce back, trying to learn what we can fix to the best of our ability, even as fans, even just for our own clarity of maybe what's going on at the club as well. But Kuva, big yourself up. I would just say it is kind of a big comedy at this rate, what's happening at Spurs, bit of dark comedy for sure. But all I can say is, we'll give a bit of that support to the manager no matter what.
Big up Cove, my man. Big up Cove. I hope things are well. Welcome in, Adrian Sraka. Shane O'Neill. He says, our starting 11 on Sunday could have been a starting 11 for Pochettino 3 managers and 2 years ago. That's the main problem. This squad is beyond stale and mouldy. Great comment, my man. I have to say, absolutely spot on. And welcome in, KJ Warwick as well. Big yourself up, and I hate Marmite as well. Big yourself up. You have Tottenham Tantrum, though. Big up Dermot, my man. Way too kind. Way too kind, my man. He says, we must never forget that we all love the club. Bill Nick built a team that was the best in the world. Players now don't care about Tottenham Hotspur, but us fans care. Tottenham till we die. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. And come on, you Spurs. Yeah, it's... How the mighty have fallen, hey, Dermot? How the mighty have fallen. Poch was on the verge of building one of the greatest teams in the world. 1 or 2 players off every single time, whether it was going for the league, falling at the final third of the Champions League, FA Cup, League Cup, always with that 1 or 2 players short of the top teams that we come up against. And it seems to be the story since Bill Nick, to be honest with you, Dermot. And but look, no matter what, at the end of the day, we love the club. There's nothing we can do about it. We're going to sit here as fans. We're going to go through the hurt together. And hopefully at the very end of the tunnel, there's a lot of joy together. And that's what I hope. I want to see us all celebrating, pouring pints over each other, going mad. You know what I mean? That's what I want to see. Honestly, I'm just pining for success right now. I'm hanging for it. It's killing me. It's killing all you guys out there. And hopefully, someone within the club, can maybe watch the YouTube streams or whatever it may be, and just realize, how much it really hurts us. And I kind of want to put it right. Or even if there's someone out there with the money that wants to buy Tottenham and put it right, come forward. Come forward. That's what I say. But Jack, do you want to say anything to Dermot here, my man?
I think, I can't wait to be educated on the fact of, Bill Nick. I feel like I've continued to learn a lot from the Harris Army in that case. I know that he taught, the push and run football practically is the whole basis, David, Bill Nick, for why we as Spurs fans demand attractive football, demand aesthetically pleasing football, demand football that pleases the people that work 6 days, 7 days a week, 5 days a week, Dave. They just spend, whatever money that they have left, on that ticket. And now I'm starting to realize, that's why we were always built this way. We're supposed to be that kind of club that satisfies the fans. Win or lose, we're supposed to satisfy the fans with the type of football that they put out there, also with the effort that they put out there as well. And I think Bill Nick built that foundation, and it's really horrible. It's really horrible to see us drift so far away from it. It's horrible to see that we never even honored Bill Nick, in the right ways that we probably should have as well. Tottenham Tantrum or Dermot. I don't know as well, though, Dave. I really kind of wish he read this aloud because I love Dermot's accent. I love his beautiful voice. Like I said, he could read me a book and I would fall asleep. He has such a silky voice in that regard. Maybe I just am a sucker for the Irish accent. But at the end of the day, all I can say to you, Dermot, is really do appreciate you. And also, I really do think it is quite sad to see how far we've drifted away. It really is sad how far we drifted away. And also, I think, David, he's gone to bed a bit early. So maybe he's just giving us the support before he watches the show tomorrow, I think is what he said. So Dermot, really, really appreciate you. Really do appreciate you as well. Really do appreciate you. And also as well, just wish you a good night. Hopefully to talk to you tomorrow as well, Dermot, like I always do. And as well, looking forward to that show next week, Dermot. Really looking forward to it. Everybody, Dermot's going to give you a bit of a stats with Jack that's maybe a bit less for the younger age, I would say. More kind of a bit more informative on the good times. Maybe some of the stats with Jacks that I give are a bit more bleak, a bit more sad, a bit darker, maybe a bit more negative. Dermot's going to give you the good old days. He's going to give you the stats with Jack, stats with Dermot of the good old days on really fantastic games that made this club who we are today. So Dermot, as always, really do appreciate you, brother. And always as well, really do wish you a good night. And also, Dermot, really the generosity. Really do appreciate you. Really do appreciate you.
Big up, Dermot, my man. Greatly appreciate it. What a top man. Great comments as usual. Everyone, make sure you keep smashing that like button, guys. Make sure you keep smashing it. But look, Jack, let's kick it off. Let's give them what they're really tuning in for. Take it away,
Absolutely.
my man.
Let's take it away. So everybody, as you might be seeing in front of you, it's actually to a degree, this is how Arsenal basically set up this match. This is kind of their attacking shape. Maybe it looks a bit different to you, maybe than what you imagine. We probably thought it was like a 4-2-3-1, but when they were actually going forward, it looked maybe more like something of a version of like a 3-2, I don't know, like 3-2-4-1 kind of to a degree, Dave, where Xhaka and Partey were actually very, to a degree, quite skilled in actually holding the midfield of the park. They overloaded actually the midfield as well in this regard. They made it very, very, very difficult for Højbjerg. This is probably why a lot of people even called out Højbjerg in that last match, which is understandable, but it really had to do with maybe what we're seeing right here, Dave. We're seeing Tanguy and Dele move really high up the pitch. I mean, at times, right? And we'll show it with a few animations as well that obviously Jamie Carragher showed you in the match of the day. But Dave, we saw Dele Alli multiple times was practically level with Harry Kane as the striker. And then also Lucas lots of times was drifting very, very, very far inside. In fact, was almost playing as like a number 10 in the center of the park. So this is kind of what I'm trying to show how Arsenal attacked, how they went forward, but I'm also trying to show you maybe all the kind of areas of the pitch the majority of our players were even finding themselves in. Tanguy was finding himself in the kind of that wide left position, Dave, and then Lucas was finding himself drifting into the middle lots. Dele was finding himself, I don't even know what Dele was doing, but he was finding himself, pretty much alongside Gabriel, just trying to be next to Harry Kane for the knock-ons and whatnot in the box. Sonny, of course, was just trying to attack Tomiyasu on the left. And then as well, though, Reguilon was trying to get, far forward, but Saka was actually pinning him, back here. Saka constantly was trying to get in behind, trying to, cut inside as well, and made it very, very difficult for Reguilon to maybe, have that creative fullback that we've known. I mean, again, Reguilón has some of the most shot creating actions in our entire team, David. Like, he's actually been one of our most creative players this season. He's actually, even what we saw, that one opportunity that he got from Brian Hill to be able to put a good ball in the box, didn't put it in the air, Dave. He picked out his cross and found Sonny, and Sonny put it in the back of the net. But Saka, as we can tell by maybe the areas that he was going, he was trying to pin Reguilón really far back here, and that made it very, very difficult. And like I said as well, though, if you actually think about it, and probably people agree with me, Lucas, and multiple times, and again, it probably was instructions from the manager, but Lucas was finding himself in these middle parts, drifting very, very, very far inside into the middle of the park. And the reason why this really hurt us so much, Dave, is that when we lose it, and because every time, we did lose it, or because we either went for a long ball, or even when we tried to play through the middle, Dave, we just somehow would lose it. And you look at maybe how many players we see in the middle here for Arsenal. I mean, we're just being outnumbered in every single way. We see Xhaka here. If he won the ball, he would easily find Tierney. He'd easily find Smith Rowe, Odegaard as well, good drift. And you also see Aubameyang. I mean, Aubameyang multiple times, it was practically just one-on-one with either Eric Dyer or Sanchez. And we know he's going to be the pace merchant. We know that he's going to be able to get in behind and find those spaces. And credit to Aubameyang. I mean, we practically played into his hands, Dave, when you really think about it. And then as well, Tierney, Tierney just did what Tierney does. He has some of the most chances created for Arsenal as well. Before that match, I think he had 24 crosses completed, and we just played into his hands. So Smith Rowe and Tierney, as you can see, maybe highlighted in that red box right there, Smith Rowe, Tierney, they really found a lot of freedom on that left-hand side for Arsenal, or I guess our right-hand side, as maybe you might say. And I think the big issue here, Dave, is we just played into their hands to a degree. We tried to play a bit of Route 1 football. And then when we even tried to play through the middle with the likes of Lucas and whatnot, we just really exposed ourselves because Tanguy and Dele were drifting so far forward. And I think they were almost arguing with each other at one point, saying which one's supposed to be going forward, which one isn't. And it just made it just practically chaotic, where at times, Dave, we see this. I mean, as much as you would like to have 4 players forward, we had all the wrong players forward. And when you think about it, we had too many players forward. We had both of our midfielders forward, and we usually play a very tight 4-3-3, and we just found ourselves in this kind of situation. Anytime we lost the ball, we would find ourselves in this situation where basically Arsenal would switch to some sort of 3 in the back. And then Ben White, Gabriel, and Tomiyasu were able to pick these passes inside to Xhaka and Partey. Xhaka and Partey then would try to find Smith Rowe, Tierney, Odegaard. And then from there, they would just break, David. They just continue to break. It'd be nice green grass in front of them. And I don't know. I mean, David, what do you think about this? I just felt like they absolutely, outnumbered us in the middle of the park, but also as well, I mean, does this sort of attacking shape, of Arsenal kind of maybe ring a bell?
Look, what I will say is it's very, very clever. Look, Tomiyasu always pulls in, right? And he was bought for a reason, because he can't play right back / centre back. So Tomiyasu pulls in, which allows Tierney to go forward, right? So he basically covers out the left. Smith Rowe and Odegaard, like you have here with Partey and Xhaka in midfield, right? Now, they know. The thing is, the reason why Arteta has done this and he's enclosed the midfield space is because he knew if our midfielders get under pressure, especially, if it was going to be... Look, I think originally he done it to kind of get in amongst Højbjerg and Skip, because he knows how aggressive they are. But when he's seen Tanguy and Dele Alli, I'd say he was laughing to himself, because he knows we can be sloppy in the ball. Tanguy got caught on the ball against Wolves. He takes too long on the ball. And, so he basically, it's what we said before the game, Jack. Right? We said the midfield battle will win this game. Yep. Whoever comes out in midfield on top will win this game. And Arteta clearly identified that, and he flooded the midfield. And what he done then is when they take the ball in midfield, because Odegaard and Smith Rowe are already up on Højbjerg, pushed up on Højbjerg, Tanguy is already too far forward. Dele Alli's too far forward. Right. I'm going to get on to Lucas Moura drifting in a minute, but because they're already too far forward, essentially, and where Aubameyang is positioning himself, which is what I said he should kind of do, is more or less position himself between the two of them, or more on Dyer's side. And by them winning the ball over, getting it to Smith Rowe or Odegaard, right? There's nothing Højbjerg can do. He's already taken out of the game because there's 2 of them and the pass was spit. So then it's basically them 2 running at our centre backs, with Aubameyang running through the middle. So either that passes on, or else you have Xhaka out the other side, you can put it in behind Reguilón, or you have Tierney up against Tanganga the other side. So when they turn over the ball and they broke on us very quickly like they did, that's the result of it. And that's the result of the formation that you see Arsenal putting out here. Condensing the midfield, turning it over, getting on it quickly, and then all of a sudden it's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's a 5-on-4 situation. And that's what we've seen. And that's why we were so stretched, because the reason why it's a 5-on-4 is because it's Reguilon, Dyer, Sanchez, Tanganga versus Tierney, Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Aubameyang, and Saka, because Højbjerg's already been taken out of the game. So when they turn over the ball quickly, it's a 5-on-4 situation, and that's what we've seen. How many times have we seen Dyer stretched, Reguilon stretched, Sanchez stretched? It's because they were outnumbering us. And how many times do we see them breaking at us, just being able to pick a pass left or right at ease and do what they wanted with us? And that's a result of condensing the midfield and winning the midfield battle. I honestly think he was preparing it to be a tough midfield battle with Skip, but once you take Skip out and you put in Ndombele and Dele Alli, not one of them, not the two. Like, Jack, I was always taught, right? And because I did play centre midfield for a few seasons, that always talk. One of you go, one of you stay. The one that's going, always shout to the other person and tell them to sit in. Right? Now, Dele Alli and Tanguy, not one of them spoke to each other. They just pushed. They just pushed on forward. Dele Alli was practically playing up alongside Harry Kane. Tanguy and Ndombele, honestly, I don't know what the guy was doing. But Lucas Moura coming in off the right. This is something we've seen in preseason, right? It's something we've seen in preseason, and it worked in preseason. But what I don't understand is when you have a player in Tierney who pushes so high, why are you not putting Lucas out on the right-hand side? Why did we see so many times Dele Alli picking up the ball in and around that right-hand side of the box? How many times? Why is that not Lucas Moura? That's where Lucas Moura should be. Get his pace to exploit that side when Tierney bumps forward. Why is he being told to come inside on a game like this when all the space is down Tierney's side? All of the space on that in that game that we should have got was all going to come down Tierney's side because of how far forward he gets.
Yep. But
you're putting Dele Alli out there, a guy who can't even kick a ball properly, compared to Lucas Moura, who can get on the ball in the space, run up players, commit players, and maybe make something happen. It's absolutely mind-boggling, to be honest with you, Jack.
I mean, David, I would also like to touch on maybe just the fact that in Tierney's case as well, like, we thought that maybe Dele Alli, this was going to be the match where he continued to get stuck in like he did against Watford, Wolves, track back and whatnot. But he was the farthest man forward. And I know this is why maybe this formation looks so horrible. This is why maybe the flanks look so maybe horrible for Spurs. It's just because this is what maybe, to a degree, it's a bit different than what Jamie Carragher was highlighting, Dave, but it is how maybe we found ourselves in those long ball situations. This is what our shape looked like when we were putting in those long balls. This is what the shape looked like for us. We were practically praying that one of those four players that are forward right here would win that ball. But when you think about it, Dave, there aren't actually that many players that are back for Spurs, or that many players that are back for Arsenal. In fact, they were actually able to win those second balls every single time with Partey and Xhaka in the midfield. And then they just were able to just hit Odegaard, hit Smith Rowe, hit Saka, hit Tierney. I mean, and Aubameyang as well, Dave. They had almost too many options when you think about it for those second balls. It was actually almost kind of clockwork for them anytime they picked up the ball from the second ball. So it just shows everybody that I know we went for that route one approach here, but this is why that route one approach looks so terrible in times, because look at how many players we launched forward with it and look how much we could have get exposed. Jerome here saying, great analysis, Jack. Definitely can see why the tactics were wrong and why in the second half it got better, but a little too late. Certainly was a little bit too late. And I just think it's been brought up. I think even David brought this up in the comments. I think other people brought this up in the comments. Everybody knew that this game was going to be won and lost in the midfield. So why is it that we were the team that just got absolutely outnumbered? And I think now I just remembered I was going to say quickly, and I'll just say it to Jerome. And Jerome, let me know what you think. Is this maybe why everybody was calling out Højbjerg for being so exposed in this match? Because just look at what he has to deal with in this case. He's practically dealing, David, maybe 4, 5, 6 players, he just gets stretched, limb from limb, having to run up and down. He couldn't even get forward ever. He had to play that holding midfielder, almost creative role, when we know he's actually been the best player on our team at winning the ball high up the pitch, winning the ball really, in the best positions you could ever win the ball. And he was actually being tasked with, having to hold the midfield down. And when you have Tanguy and Dele abandoning him like this, David, he's only going to get stretched. He's only going to get destroyed. And so, Jerome, let me know what you think of that. But I just thought, yeah, I really appreciate the support, Jerome. I actually appreciate the compliment as well. But I just would say, this was also made it so difficult to watch for Højbjerg because he was just getting stretched every single direction. And he almost had to just gamble at times. Even Jamie Carragher, said it multiple times. Luckily, Højbjerg won the ball in that position. Luckily, Højbjerg, won the ball back for us in that position. But he's not going to do it for 90 minutes straight. He's not going to win every challenge. He's not going to be able to, save us, basically, damage control us the whole match. And this is why, he just maybe looked like he was getting so exposed. I know I'm a bit of a Højbjerg apologist, but at the end of the day, like, it just shows how exposed he was going to get this whole match just from the very onset.
But the thing is, what annoys me, but first of all, big up Jerome. Really appreciate the support and, saying thank you to Jack. Look, he put a lot of time into this. It's not easy to do. But I have to say, I was impressed when I seen it as well. And big up Jack. But Jerome, really appreciate it. And look, what I would say to you, Jerome, is look, what Jack's showing us here, right? Clearly, Nuno would have seen that after the first goal. Maybe after the second goal, you think maybe he would have spotted it. But he waited too late to change it up. He
doesn't even say anything on the sideline.
Any good manager can see that happening. And what you do is you get a message onto the pitch and you say either Dele Alli or Tanguy, sit with Højbjerg. Just sit with Højbjerg, right? All he has to do, Jack, if he wants to play the long ball, right? Do you know it's a simple switch? All he actually has to do is switch to a 4-2-3-1. Get Dele Alli higher up beside Harry Kane. If you want to go along to Harry Kane, you can. You have Dele Alli in around him to pick up the second ball. Lucas one side, Sonny the other side, and Højbjerg and Tanguy sitting. Or switch Tanguy and Dele Alli. It's literally a simple change. And that way you have one of your midfielders up there to try and get the second ball. It's a simple switch. He could have even done that without having to make a substitution. He didn't do it. Then he could have put a message on the pitch and just said, look, guys, park the bus for a little while till we get this sorted out, get it into halftime. I'll make the change. I'll get Skip on, and then we can go for it. But it didn't happen. He just watched it happen. He just watched Højbjerg being exposed. He watched our defence being exposed with Arsenal with all the space coming into it. It's mind-boggling. It's mind-boggling. It's a simple switch. 4-2-3-1. It's a simple switch. It'll suit what way he wanted to play. Because like I said, you have that one midfielder and you can pull your wingers in a tiny bit in towards Harry Kane and have your players in there to pick up the breaking ball. Simple switch, Jerome. But big up, my man. Really appreciate the super chat. David says, serious question, lads. You think Dele and Ndombele were instructed to play that far up? Or is it their nature and no discipline, or both? Look, I'll be honest with you, just me quickly. I would honestly probably say a bit of both, to be honest with you. I'd say probably they were instructed to get up a bit further, but as well, they've no discipline. Look, we know they've no discipline. These players don't like being told what to do. They don't like being told the homegrown truths. We know that because they got Pochettino sacked, they got Jose Mourinho sacked, and they ultimately have the club in the position where it's at the minute. No discipline in them. You can't tell these guys what to do because they're on too much money. Oh, you're talking to me. I'm on 200 grand a week. What you want? Okay, go away. That's the way some of the attitudes are, unfortunately. It's a horrible way to be, but what can I say? I do think it's a bit of both, David. Jack, what would you say?
To be honest, David, I feel like what David said is actually perfect. I do think maybe what Jamie Carragher was even saying, I do think actually these players were instructed to go high up the pitch, to win the knock-ons, to win the second ball. But at the same time, I think Sue Smith put this in the comments. It also was the players, willingness not to track back as well when they got exposed. Dele Alli to Tanguy to, as well as other players, just practically left Højbjerg out to dry. There's no way were they willing to track back. In no way they're showing any grit. There was no sprints, coming back, Dave. There was no oh shit moment, from any of them. There's Jack, just nothing at all.
My computer's after freezing. I'm just going to have to shut it down and start back up.
Okay, everybody, I'll just take it from here.
From Jerome. Do you have it before I shut it down?
Yeah, no, I got it, Dave. I got it. Okay. I was just going to say, everybody, David will be joining us right back, but just to say to this, David, as well, I just feel like they just got absolutely exposed in this regard. And I do actually think that Jamie Carragher did instruct them to go this high. Please let me know, everybody, if you did think that Jamie Carragher instructed them to go this high. I personally think they did, but then I agree with what Sue Smith is saying, is that in no way did they show any grit or any balls at all to be able to track back for the squad as well. It just is. It was oddly apparent. It really was oddly apparent. I just feel like they just got absolutely exposed, absolutely wrecked in that regard. And it just made it really, really difficult to watch because we saw Dele and Tanguy, their heads would just drop and just try to track back when there practically would be the entire Arsenal team ahead of them. So it really did just show. So my answer to you, David, I do think they were instructed to get that high, but as well, like Sue Smith was saying, I think it falls on the players as well to still be able to track back and show a little bit of grit. It's a North London derby, for crying out loud. And it's just I don't know, as much as maybe the tactics could be wrong, I just feel like it also falls entirely on the players as well to show a bit of that regard, just to be able to track back for the squad. Jerome here with a super chat saying, Just making sure I didn't miss one. There it is. Jerome with super chat saying Højbjerg was completely isolated in that midfield with Alba, Smith Rowe, and Odegaard flooding in the midfield. Tanguy and Ali are way too close to the front three. They're way too close to the front three, Jerome. Exactly. I really do feel like, again, that, I do think Jamie Carragher instructed them, to do that as well. I would just say maybe in Tanguy's case, Tanguy was actually almost yelling at Ali at certain points, to, say, let me go for it. Let me go for it. It seemed like Dele Alli was the only one that was there for the knockdowns. It seemed like Dele Alli was, in fact, the highest player up at certain times as well, alongside Harry Kane. It just is actually kind of crazy that Dele Alli was almost playing like the second striker. And maybe to people who probably wanted Dele Alli in his most natural position, to a degree, that kind of was it. He was trying to play off the striker. He was trying to, win those knockdowns like he did before, make runs in and off Harry Kane, like we've seen, seasons past during that 2016, 2017 season. And just didn't work out because we absolutely exposed, Højbjerg. We absolutely exposed him in every way. And also maybe Arteta, to a degree, as much as he's a cone manager, as much as I don't really respect his brain at all in that regard, kind of got it right. He saw that maybe we would expose, maybe the midfield in that game. And he also knew that the game would be won and lost from the midfield as well. So I don't know. I think it falls off really a lot on Ali. I think that's why Ali was pulled off after 45 minutes. Ali, there's a reason, not Tanguy, in my opinion. As much as maybe people would like to think that Tanguy, maybe should have been pulled off after 45, there was a reason why I think Dele was. And that was just because Dele was the one that was in no way tracking back. Dele was also the one that just continued to expose the team. He's also supposed to be tracking Tierney. He's supposed to be tracking Xhaka. He's supposed to be winning the ball high up the pitch. He wasn't doing it by any means. So I don't know. It really was just a slaughter. It was a slaughter for Højbjerg. I actually feel really bad for Højbjerg in that regard too. Do you feel really bad for him? Because I just don't think he deserved that. Really don't think he deserved to be exposed like that as well. I think it just then made every player in the midfield look a whole lot worse. And I just feel like it falls a lot on Tanguy and Dele, but also falls on Nuno and the tactics. But I do agree with you, Stu Smith, as well, just saying they could have at least shown a bit of effort. They could have at least shown a bit of grit to be able to track back as well. But I do agree. I do think that they were instructed to go that high up the pitch and, sit off the striker like that. So that's my answer. And Jerome, hopefully you're okay with that answer as well. But again, it just shows how much, Højbjerg was just being absolutely isolated and absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, the thing is, look, as soon as he would have seen that midfield, he would have straight away, Arteta would have straight away said to Odegaard and Smith Rowe, sit on Højbjerg. He's the one that's, especially when we get the ball, right? So what we were seeing when Dyer and Sanchez were getting the ball, right? Tanguy and Dele were pushing forward. But the thing is, I genuinely believe they were probably supposed to get the ball to Højbjerg because he's the best passer, deep in that midfield. But what Arteta instructed Odegaard and Smith Rowe to do was close down Højbjerg, leave Dyer and Sanchez with the ball, get Saka to push up on Reguilon, Tierney to push up on Tanganga, and that way all they're left with is a long ball up to Harry Kane.
Yep.
Nothing he can do from it. It's simple tactics from Arteta. It's simple tactics that Nuno should understand as a manager after going and getting his license and everything else to be a manager. It's simple tactics that he should have been able to adapt to. It's that simple. And he should, even if he did tell Tanguy and Dele to push up, he should have spotted it straight away within 10, 15 minutes and then said to them, look, one of you is going to have to sit in beside Højbjerg, or even just start shouting at the players. Come and show for the ball. It's simple. Just put instructions out there. Shout from the sideline. That's your job. If sometimes you have to, your in-game management is important as your tactics going into the game. Sometimes your tactics aren't working, and you have to change it in game. What did he do? Nothing. He allowed it to continue. And if he isn't putting instructions on the pitch and Tanguy and Dele aren't getting back, well, I'm sorry. I've seen managers do it before. Jose done it and changed the game in the Champions League against Olympiacos, haul one of their asses off and get skip on. It's that simple. Sometimes you have to do it. You don't need to wait to halftime to do it. But big up Jerome, my man. Really appreciate the super chat, my man. Really appreciate the support. What a legend. Jason Wade says, Ariel Jews lost. White and Aubameyang won almost every header in either box. And do you know what's shocking about that quickly, Jason? Is White is absolutely shocking in the air.
He won a lot of headers over Harry Kane.
Tony and Lukaku ate White alive. Kane and Cole made White look world class. I couldn't agree more. I actually could not agree more with that. Sky done a full expose on Ben White after the Brentford game. And it's shocking. But look, how many times are we surprised? Dele Alli gave away a goal against Chelsea, couldn't compete in the air from a corner. Tanguy and Ndombele against Wolves wouldn't get off the ground from a corner. Are we surprised that these players are beating our players in the air when you're seeing things like that? Set pieces happened all last season. We were vulnerable from set pieces. So you were thinking, okay, maybe these players might be working on that over the summer to put at least that right. That'll stop conceding goals. Are they doing it? Clearly not. Clearly not. It's just little simple things that they should have been working on and that they should be easily be able to put right. But when you have the players who don't have the desire to compete, you have the players who don't have the desire to get back and help out defensive wise. What happened on the Sunday is the result of it, Jason. That's the result of it. Jack, what would you say to Jason?
Maybe Jason Whale might appreciate this stat. All I can say is I'm pretty sure Ben White almost won all of his aerial duels. Like that's just shocking. Like, because before that, David, he had a 50% aerial duel win rate. Before that, 50% for a center back. It's usually much higher than that. Like, believe me, it's usually much higher than that for most center backs. And so it just shows in that regard. It just shows. And also as well, maybe another stat as well. There's a reason why Dele Alli was taken off the pitch. Maybe a stats with Jack moment here. I would just say Dele Alli, think he played 45 minutes, Dave. He actually lost possession 8 times. How many minutes did Tanguy play? I think 75, something like that, around 80 minutes. I think Tanguy played. Tanguy lost it 9 times. It just doesn't, by note, that's just pathetic in both regards. It is pathetic in both regards. But the fact that Dele Alli lost the ball 8 times in the space of 45 minutes, 8 times, it just is, it's just, we could have been slaughtered even more. So there it is for you, everybody. And as well, Jason, Whale, really love this. This is a great comment. As much as it's painful to read, it just shows, because there is a reason why there was an expose on Ben White, and for some reason we tried to go for the same approach and absolutely failed in it. And we should have tried to go about a different way for sure.
No, 100%. Big up, Jason, my man. Really appreciate the support. Ellie's in the house. She said, so that would have been a rant, just like the Dele Alli so poignantly yelled out, let's be having you, 100%. Oh, Delia Smith, sorry. Yeah, 100%. I get what you're saying. The Norwich lady, 100%. Big up, Ellie. William Kelly, my man, I hope you're doing well. With your comment yesterday, I was concerned I wouldn't see you for a while, my man. With you not being happy with where the club is at. But look, my man, I'm really good to see you back in. Really good to see you back in. Hopefully, maybe you just took a back step yesterday and you enjoyed the stream. But
maybe you had a good bottle of rum next to him. That was a bit more therapeutic than maybe most bottles of rum might be. Maybe he just chose maybe the one off the higher shelf, Dave, gives you a bit better feelings, maybe not as
William
low.
Has the good. We know William only drinks the good stuff on the rocks. He says, it was like watching Ozzy Ardiles team formation, complete disregard for midfield and defence.
Ooh.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. It is complete disregard. Look, even if Nuno was under pressure going into this game and wanted to provide the attacking football, the thing is, like I said, you can still play the attack. Poch played an attacking football with 4-2-3-1 with two CDMs sitting in there. We still played attacking football. And the thing is, if it was too defensive and we were getting on top of the game, then Poch had the option to take one out and bring on an attacking player. But by then, we've already suffocated the other team. This tactic right here, from the very off, is absolutely shocking, because even the long ball, it's just giving the ball back to Arsenal and letting them settle into the game, William Kelly. And when you have the players up there who can't compete for it, and you don't have the players who are intelligent enough to kind of predict where the second ball is going to go, well then straight away Arsenal just pick up the ball and straight at Højbjerg and straight at the defence. I completely agree with you, William. Completely agree with you. Completely no regard for defence whatsoever. How can you go from being too defensive to way too attacking? Just somewhere in between, Nuno. It's not hard. Somewhere in between. Like, if I can sit here and say a simple change of a 4-2-3-1, how's Nuno not sitting there and seeing that? It's simple. It's simple, William. But my man, it's good to see you back in, my man. Good to see you
back, William. Also, Kelly. William Kelly, it's really good to see you back. I know you're a warrior at the end of the day. I know, as even in your darkest moments, William Kelly, I know you probably just wake up and just realize, at the end of the day, you still wear the badge, despite how much they disrespect the badge. But William Kelly, I just want to what do you think of those long balls? Because at the end of the day, we're actually asking David, we're asking them to win that second ball. I mean, it's just such a risk when you think about it. Like, if we're not winning that second ball, we're seeing how much we can get exposed in this little formation right here. We can see how much we can get exposed, if we don't win that second ball. So it just shows William Kelly as well, though, as much as Ozzy was an absolutely brilliant player to watch. Of course, I wasn't alive, during it, but I would say he was absolutely brilliant to watch. I'm not too familiar with, his formations or his teams. Apparently they were quite fun to watch. But maybe you're right. Maybe in this case, it was also a huge disregard, huge disrespect, maybe towards the midfield as well as the defense. But I would say as a player, Ozzy Ardiles was brilliant.
No, he was. He was brilliant as a player. Look, William, one of my dad's favorite players, I have to say. Look, I don't know. I didn't see too much of the Aussie era, to be honest with you, my man. But I did hear it wasn't so great, my man. But good comparison, I have to say. Good comparison.
There you go.
And he says, yes, Dave, in-game management of Nunes is wanting big time. It really is. And Ganesh makes a great point here. Should the defense have maybe played a higher up? Great work. Yeah, 100%. The defense could have pushed higher up. It could have. I agree with you. It could have. With the defense pushing higher up, right? It pushes Højbjerg higher up and it closes that gap. It really condenses where you're playing. That's a very good point, I have to say.
We actually have the pace to a degree, despite Aubameyang. It's a great point, Ganesh, because we have the pace with Tanganga and Sanchez, as we can see on the right-hand side for us. Those guys can easily catch up to Tierney. They can easily catch up to Aubameyang as well. So if we did push up higher up the pitch, could have set a few more offside traps, just made it very difficult for them to even get out of their own half, you probably would say, Ganesh. We could have made it very, very difficult for them to get out of their half. They would have almost had to play the long ball themselves, Dave, in order to get out of their own half. It could have been probably quite ugly football to watch, but it's better if you want to play this kind of way, you have to be able to choke them inside their own half, I would say, make it very, very hard for them to break out. But as we're seeing here, when we don't win those second balls, we saw how much green grass they had in front of them. And also the defense would be very pushed back as well. So Ganesh, great point.
Yeah, big up, Ganesh. Great point. Jerome says, to make matters worse, we made a bang average team look good. If we showed more aggression, we would have made it 3-3. Yeah, look, it's another thing I said before the North London Derby. I just had a feeling whatever way the first goal fell was the team that was going to win it. And the reason why I said that is because Arsenal don't score too many, but somehow we let them score 3. Only scored 2 Premier League goals coming into this. And somehow we let them score 3. We let them double that and get another one again. On top of what they had coming into it in the Premier League. But not only that, when we go 1 down, we've seen it over the last few years. The heads drop. We go 1 down quickly, we're 2 down. Games in sometimes 2 down, you can recover. But then quickly when you go 3 down, games over, heads drop. And then in the second half, I've seen it against West Ham last year. Game was over at halftime. And then in the second half, they come out, we're trying to play forward, but no end product. I've had enough of it, Jerome. I've had enough of it. No aggression, no desire, no hunger. Couldn't give a shit about the fans. Even thinking about maybe the rollicking they get off the fans might inspire them and give them that aggression to go and get a 3-3. Look, if Harry Kane would have took his chance maybe on another day, it could have been 3-3. But yeah, I agree with you. Look, it's shocking. It's just shocking. It's shocking, Jerome. Jack, do you want to say anything to Jerome and then we'll get on to the next slide?
Sure. I think this just touches on maybe despite maybe Arsenal getting the tactics right, it still just shows maybe how poor of a team I think they still are. The fact that we still had that chance with Harry Kane, the fact that also, Lucas's shot still went off the bar. We consider that as well. There were also moments when Dele Alli just, received it in fantastic positions in the box and just didn't know what to do with it. And you also just think maybe we probably could have, like I said, kind of snatch and grab this to a degree, maybe just grabbed a point that we probably didn't deserve. But you think about it as well. It just says then just a whole lot about this team if they can't even find those opportunities when they're given to them, when they don't deserve it, and they still can't take it. They still can't take it when it's given to them on a plate. And I think Jamie Carragher pointed out that, there really could have been a whole lot more scored by Arsenal. But you also think about it as well. They're that bad of a team, in my opinion, that they still gave us chances to even come back into the game. And so you just think about that as well, Jerome. And yeah, it just says a whole lot about the players' effort. It says a whole lot about the players' concentration up here as well. And it says a whole lot about their mental fortitude as well, Jerome. Big up.
Big up, Jerome, my man. Really appreciate the support. And then, Jesus, a massive one from William.
Wow.
Massive one from William. But big up, Jerome, my man. Really appreciate it. William Kelly says, these players are not playing for this manager. And if I was the manager and that was the case, I'd drop every one of them, play Gill and Skip and all the youngsters against Villa. What has he got to lose? His job that is probably gone anyway. Well, look, correct me if I'm wrong. Did Jose not kind of take that attitude against Aston Villa last season and end up getting a result? I think we bet them 3-1. You know, he put in the likes of Tanganga, Roden, and players like that, and we got an uplift. Probably, you know, we actually seen bodies being put on the line again defensively and stuff like that, blocking shots and all. And look, it probably does have to be done. Probably does have to be done. I agree with you. Look, get Denny out of there, get Tangai in there. You know, put Gill in there. Go to a 4-2-3-1. Put Heiberg and Skip as holding. Put Gill in the cam. Put Son outside one side, Lucas out the other. Kane. At least Gill will be able to get on the ball, create stuff. You still have your two holding midfielders in there to be able to break up play. And then you put Romero back in there. And for me, I think I dropped Dyer and Sanchez, put Roden in beside him. Romero and Roden as your centre backs, rotate between Tanganga and Royal. You have Reglan as your left back. Who knows? Maybe that is a platform to go forward. And then you bring the likes of Niall John onto the bench. Dane Scarlett is always on the bench. You know, you start flooding the bench with these guys who are young and hungry and actually will want to come on and take their opportunity and make a mark rather than come on and dilly-dally about for 30 minutes just to get through the performance so then they can go home and play a fortnight. We want young, hungry players who will actually come on and make an impact and have that desire to do so and actually have that desire and hunger to represent Tottenham in a way that us fans deem acceptable. You know, and hopefully that is the case. But Jack, what would you say to William Kelly? I think it's and it's what Dark Sanji has been saying as well.
Oh, it took the words out of my mouth, Dave. Just took the words out of my mouth. And Dark Sanji, wherever you're recuperating, wherever you're finding your therapy, I mean, honestly, take your time, Dark Sanji. Take your time, because I know, David, he must be absolutely just, I don't even want to describe the emotions Dark Sanji must be going through, because he's been preaching exactly what William Kelly's been preaching here. He's almost, it's not like maybe he saw this result happening, but he almost has just felt like he can't trust these players, William Kelly. You know, Dark Sanji has not been able to trust these players. He doesn't ever trust Dele Alli. He's barely trusted Tanguy. He said for a very long time, you know, practically just put in the youth, because, you know, even in the worst of times, William Kelly, even at our worst of football, you know, they're at least going to be fighting for the badge. You know that when they do lose the ball that high up the pitch, you know that they will be tracking back. You know, they will put in those nasty tackles to win the ball back. You know that they will not stand up for any sort of performance like that. You know, they would probably even be taking responsibility as well, William Kelly. And also, again, with the youth, no matter how bad, you know, maybe a manager is, the youth know that it's their opportunity. They know that it's their opportunity to shine. It's their opportunity to be able to prove something to the fans, to either the manager, to the club, or even to maybe future prospects of other clubs in the future. They actually have things to prove compared to these other players, William Kelly. So that's why you also put in the youngsters. Believe that. I mean, actually, when you think about it that way, even if we're going to be playing this sort of football, if we're going to be playing the worst kind of football possible, you just think about it, just putting in the youth, you at least know you're going to get something tangible out of it, something where, you know, you can at least say, wow, this player tried, this player tried, this player tried. Maybe we got the tactics wrong, but at least we know that the players put in the effort. And again, William Kelly, it just shows the players, they just have no respect for sometimes the fans that put in their hard-earned cash, their hard-earned money, even their hard-earned time, you might say as well, to show up for these matches, even to wake up at 3:30 in the morning, or to, you know, to stay up all night to watch a game, to wake up at 6 in the morning to watch these matches, and then just to be slapped in the face like that by the players, and also to get no apologies from them as well. And then also, William Kelly, the fact that Nuno's the only one raising his hand for the responsibility of it all, it just says a lot about these players, William Kelly. It certainly says a lot, and I really agree with you, William Kelly. Big yourself up. Really generous of you, but really big yourself up. I really agree. I think Dark Sanji, wherever he's at, I mean, he agrees, I mean, by a million times. I mean, I can't even, Dark Sanji, I don't know, Dave. It's like he called it all along. And he's not an I told you so person, David, but he called this all along.
Yeah. No, he did. But look, big up William Kelly, my man. I really, really appreciate it, my man. Top man, great support. And I genuinely do hope you're doing well. You were very, very upset yesterday, and rightly so, in my opinion, man. Rightly so. Pontomac says, best therapy program. Sue Smith is on her way out. She says, good night, David and Jack. Falling asleep here as I was up at 6. I watched all your show last night. We'll watch the rest later. Thanks for being here. No, Sue. I'm going to keep saying, look, me and Jack will always be, well, not always, well, we will always be here as long as, you know, you guys, I'm going to keep saying this, ye hold the key to everything. You guys, these shows are absolutely nothing without you guys tuning in. Like I keep saying, smashing the like, smashing the subscribe, sharing the streams, getting your super chats in and help supporting these channels. It's the lifeblood of the channels. You have no idea. You guys are the ground root of all the channels. You hold the keys. The day you stop tuning in, the day the dream for me and Jack is over. It's that simple.
Legend, Sue.
So, look, Sue, thank you so much for tuning in. Tottenham Tantrum. Excuse me, for a few to get through here. Thank you so much.
Dermot, you're supposed to be going to bed. You're supposed to be going to bed.
You should be. You should be. Tottenham Tantrum says, can't stay away. You hook me again. Can you please tell me what was Denny doing? Only Son try it and Gil when he came on.
Yeah.
A show a bit of passion. Yeah, look, 100%. Look, for me, you have to get in there. I know a lot. Look, people will become a believer. Trust me. Once he gets a run of games, everyone's going to be a believer. Look, I've been a believer since he got here. I've been a big fan of the guy. And for me, Skip has to come back in. You're taking the aggression out of the team. You're taking a high turnover balls out of the team, and you're taking out a guy who ultimately cares. With Son as well. Look, very happy he got his goal. And look, he was trying to make things happen. So happy days, Dermot. But look, sorry for getting you hooked again, my man. Look, do go to bed though, Dermot. Do go to bed. Jack, what do you want to say to Dermot?
Dermot, maybe after I just give you my response, you can watch it tomorrow, Dermot. You can just save a bit away. I'm not going to say it. I almost say, just get some shut eye, Dermot. I almost said, the naughty W word, for Mr. Harry something. But everybody, I would just say, please, don't stay up too late for these shows. You can watch them the next day. But if you are hooked like Dermot is, just stay along with us. But believe me, we're not trying to keep you guys up at any means. Whatever night owls are with us, please stay with us. But Dermot, you're an absolute legend. And I would just say, Dermot, I think he was instructed, to stay very, very high up the pitch. I think Dele was told to be practically sitting off of Harry Kane to win those knockdowns, to be able to maybe even win something to go in behind Harry Kane as well. Almost like I said before, like practically playing to a degree the old Dele Alli position. But the problem is that he's supposed to be part of a midfield three, almost like a flat midfield three. So that meant that you're exposing not only Tanguy, but also Højbjerg, as we pointed out a million times. So I think he was instructed to do that, Dermot. It's just he also showed absolutely no effort to track back when he was exposed. And that just made it doubly worse. So big yourself up, Dermot. I really do agree. And I think he was instructed to be sitting high up there. And Sonny and Hill, I think Hill just needs to come in. The sooner the better.
100%. Couldn't agree more. But big up, Dermot. Really appreciate the support, my man. Top man. Ellie, big up, Ellie. Really appreciate it. Really, really appreciate it, love. And she says, I agree with William. We need three of the best academy players, Divine, Scarlett, and Niall John. Looks, Alfie Divine scored again there the other day. The other night, I think it was last night, actually. Scored again last night. Look, this guy, when he was at Wigan, highly, highly rated. A lot of clubs looking for him. Tottenham ended up getting him in. Of course, he made his debut against Marine, got his goal, and continues to play well for the under-23s, continues to score goals. Look, for me, give him a chance. Honestly, it can't be any worse than what we're seeing from Ali, Ndombele, Winks, etc. Lo Celso. Can't be any worse. Same as Niall John. Give the kid a chance. Give him a chance. Mourinho brought him on the bench for Europa League games last season. Clearly saw something in it. Nuno's given him a chance pre-season. Hasn't been around the first team. There's clearly something there. Give the guy a run of games. As for Scarlett, Mbappe, Starlet, Mbappe. Look, for me, I do believe in this kid. I do think he's going to be quality. Give him the time. He'll get used to it, and he'll get you the goals. He's a sharp trooper. I'm telling you, this guy is going to be absolutely...
Well said, Dave.
Ellie, thank you so much for the talk.
Couldn't say it better myself. Could not say that better myself, Ellie. I think David just gave you the perfect answer. I don't even want to corrupt that answer with anything I would say. So there it is, Ellie. Maybe I apologize for not giving my answer. Just hopefully, Ellie, I know you kind of stayed up for this one as well. Ellie, in case you need to go to bed for any reason, feel free to watch the rest of it tomorrow. Like I said, we don't like to hold people hostage, as much as maybe we've developed that reputation for holding some of you guys hostage in the past. All I can say is, Ellie, feel free at any time, but really appreciate you staying up, David. I know she stayed up for this one.
She was actually supposed to be getting early night, but look, maybe she just can't sleep because of the Arsenal game, is maybe sitting there with her big jug of wine again. Who knows?
But I could not say, Dave, what David just said about the academy players. He just gave the lowdown, everybody. He just gave the lowdown. So there it is, everybody. Perfectly said. All
facts as well, I may add. But thank you, Jack. You're making me blush. Stop it now. Faz Radfar says, so poor, but nearly 3-3. Showing we lost to a crap team. Shocking. Should never be losing to them, Faz. Not that team. Not that Arsenal team. Look, I've grown up watching good Arsenal teams. I hate to admit it, but you had Vieira, Pires, Bergkamp, Henry. You're talking about Thomas the Tank Engine, Boom Shakalaka. You're talking about Can't Row a Boat, Oodie Woody. You know what I mean? You're talking about all these players who are actually not really great players. We just made them look good. Aubameyang.
We
Hasn't
made Ben
scored.
Scheidt with the
I think
50% aerial win rate look good, Dave.
I think Aubameyang, yeah. But I think Aubameyang, I think he's probably scored about 15 goals since he signed 300k a week. And we let him score against us. Then you have, like you said, Ben White, Ben Scheidt, couldn't win a header in the Premier League, you know, gets outdone most weeks in that department. And then all of a sudden turns around into prime Sergio Ramos, prime Nemanja Vidic, and starts winning absolutely everything. It's absolutely shocking, Fast. Should never happen, but big up, my man. Really appreciate the support. Kuva99 says the gap in our midfield is because we predicted all week at home because we practiced all week at home with a boxing ring in the way, and Delhi and Tangai can only function on the muscle memory. What would you say to Kuva, Jack?
I don't even know sometimes. I actually get shell shocked by some of these jokes for Kuva. All I would say is,
One second. Sorry. Jason's off to bed. Good night, my man, Jason. Thank you so much for staying up. And you're up early, my man. So, yeah, look, get some sleep, my man. But thank you so much. Really support. And he says, night all fellow Spurs family. Come on, you Spurs. No player bigger than the club. What an inspirational message on his way out. Big out. Big up. But, back to Kuva, Jacko.
I mean, to be honest, at this rate, Dave, I would say in order for any of these players to earn back their starting 11 spot, it probably might need to be something what we saw with Antonio Conte, battling, Romelu Lukaku. I would say basically, each player in each position, Harry Winks got to battle Tanguy for a certain spot. They got to box it out. Delhi maybe has to box it out with maybe another player as well. And we just maybe find out who the toughest, the strongest one is in the squad, which one wants it more than any other player. I would say, Kuva, that's how we got to go about it. Maybe a bit of Diego Simeone style, maybe a bit of Antonio Conte style, which players actually do have the grit. Let's see if it's not all talk with some of these guys, especially which ones, will be willing to get punched in the mouth and keep going. Because clearly, when we go 1-0 down, none of these players they just don't even know how to function when they go 1-0 down. I mean, they just don't know how to handle any punches. And so that's all I can say, Kuva. And then, I mean, I know that Delhi and Tanguy function a lot on muscle memory, especially in Tanguy's case. He's practically gone to so many burger shops. He doesn't even remember. He probably remembers just orders he could order it, David, blindly. His burgers. He might even be able to know how to do the Uber Eats, blindly as well, Dave. He just knows his whole code and everything. So Kuva, a lot of those guys, it's muscle memory in the worst kind of ways for some of these guys.
Yeah, no, big up Kuva, my man. Really appreciate it. I couldn't answer any more than what Jack's answer. So big yourself up, my man. Ken the Long Shot says, this reminds me a lot of Poch's year one. Took him to November to say screw it. Build around the youth, drop the toxic players and get results. Nuno needs to do the same and build a team that will die for him. Look, Ken the Long Shot, it's a great point, 100%. I couldn't agree more with this. Look, it even took Mourinho to the point, last season against, up to the Aston Villa game to say, look, screw it. And look, Nuno has to learn from this and start doing it a bit quicker. He needs to do it a bit quicker and just work with players that actually care. But honestly, spot on point. Pochettino, he was allowed to, get rid of all the players he wanted to get rid of. They bought players on and let him, they let him build around, Harry Kane and all that sort of crack. Got Sonny in as well. That helped massively. And, he was allowed to get rid of the toxic players at the time, Adebayor. Look, there was loads of them. I think he got rid of 12 in the end, you know what I mean? So, and it did yield results. And, it was built around young, hungry players who wanted to make a mark in the game and would do anything Pochettino told them to do. I think Nuno has to go down the same route, Jack.
Yeah, I completely agree, Kane the Long Shot, and as well as Dave, I completely agree. I just feel like, again, this just echoes Dark Sun G, this comment. It really does. And I think maybe I'm starting to realize, Kane the Long Shot, maybe Dark Sun G might be like a former staff member of Poch or something like that. Maybe we're missing something. Maybe he just is someone that was birthed, you might say, during that Poch era where he just says, like, you just can't trust certain players. You can't trust them to put in the tactics that, you put out for them. You can't trust them to do the instructions. You can't trust them to track back for the squad, especially when they see that we're in danger, when we see that there's a certain kind of, let's say, hole in the squad, let's say there's a gap in the flanks, whatever it may be. We know that maybe during the Poch era, there would have been someone that would have sacrificed in order to maybe plug that gap or plug that flank or solve that issue or even just damage control. And now there are only so few players in the squad that I think left that I could even trust to do that anymore. And I think that's where it is. It's just there's so many just selfish, toxic, I don't know. I'm trying to come up with the smart words here, Dave, but I just can't. Just toxic players, like maybe Kane the long shot said here, and
Yeah.
they just in no way want to do anything that the manager instructs them to do. And as well, I would just say then you just fall back to the youth because, like I said, maybe Kane the long shot. The youth have something to prove. They have something to prove, and you know that they would follow the instructions. And even if the instructions weren't right, they at least would then try to damage control it. So Kane the long shot, big yourself up. Again, just echoes Dark Sun G, and I just couldn't even. I don't. He's just singing through me right now. He's almost singing through me, Dave.
Big up, Ken, the long shot, my man. Absolutely spot on. Great comment, my man. And again, really appreciate the generosity and the support. You have no idea how much it actually really helps, my man. JC's off to bed. Big up, JC. Good night, my man. Thanks for tuning in on the watch along as well over on Flat Cap Eurotalk. John Fitzpatrick's in the house. Big up, John. But I hope things are well over there in Oz as well. Maybe you and William Kelly, maybe you might be close to each other. Maybe, William Kelly, John Fitzpatrick, both Irish over in Oz. Maybe you can meet up for a pint or that and watch a game together. Who knows? Harris Army bringing people together since 2021. Aglaya Kakarata says, hold my beauty sleep any night for you. Fabulous fellas. And I love the analogy of Ben White, David. That crack was worth staying up for. No, honestly, I do crack myself up sometimes, Ellie. I really do, I have to say. But no, really appreciate that. And no, look, appreciate you for staying up. Look, blame Jack. Everyone that is staying up past their bedtime, blame Jack for putting them slides together. As soon as I seen it, I got a rock on. I was like, I can't wait to do this stream. It's exactly, the visions I had when we got this sort of stuff, to be able to do this sort of stuff before games, after games, and everything else. And, Jack is the man to make it happen. So, look, everyone, you can blame Jack if you're staying up past your bedtime or you're tired.
Oh, Dave, like I said, it's a bit of, sometimes I keep the class just a little bit too long sometimes, I'm just kind of one of those professors, Dave, just have to be able to keep them, until the lesson is learned. But I know they already know the lesson, Dave. That's the horrible thing in the situation. Everybody knows what I'm probably about to be saying. And so that's also the problem. Everybody saw what went wrong. Everybody knows what went wrong. And so even like some people like Zanuska said in the beginning, Dave, she was like, where to start, where to start. And that's just how it is. And Ellie as well. Appreciate you for sticking up for us and appreciate you for staying up for us as well. Really legend.
Oh, big up, Ellie. And look, I really appreciate the support as well. Way too kind. Way too kind. And look, we won't keep you for too much longer. That's a promise. We won't keep you for too much longer. We'll let you get your beauty sleep, Ellie. But thank you. I really appreciate the support. Really appreciate it. And I'm glad that we can provide a bit of comedy in these moments too, Ellie. So big yourself up. And Sammy Player says he's become a new YouTube member. And big up. Look, Sammy, 2 times in a week you're catching us live. Honestly, this is what dreams are made of, Sammy. Big yourself up. And I hope to see you on the fan show on Monday after the Villa game, my man. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. But look, Jack, let's keep going. Let's keep cracking on. Cody Mack says new series. Frenemies, Jack versus Alex. Look, Marcelo works an awful lot these days. I'm going to see if I can get him back in on some frenemies. And maybe the weeks he can't do it, maybe we can get Jack and Alex to do it. I definitely think it'd be good, Cody, 100%. Big yourself up.
Big up. And also, everybody, everything is... I apologize to Alex, Cody. I realized I got a bit short with him. Just was a bit hangry last night, Cody. I had to make a really nice homemade carbonara with the missus. Just got a little bit kind of pressured. I was worried I was going to be eating that carbonara out of a dog bowl. And so I just kind of took it out on Alex and I apologized to him. But at the end of the day, we just, he knows how it is. And also as well, it's all good at the end of the day. We're all Spurs at the end of the day. And we're all friends at the end of the day. It's also the Harris Army. It's the nicest, biggest family there is.
No, 100%. Big up. Shamu says, I prefer these late night streams. Shamu, best in the business? Who knows? Let me know. Maybe let me know, Shamu. William McKenzie says, how does you improve if you don't play them at senior level? They have less pressure and the body can recover fast. Using you won't get us top 4, but we need to groom them. 100%, my man. Couldn't agree more. Another great comment. Double the worst trouble. Says the Times said Levy demanded 40 million from Everton for Winks. So are we going to get rubbish players out? No, probably not. Not at that price anyway. I wouldn't even give €4 on my sausage roll for him, to be honest with you. Well, big yourself up, my man. Really appreciate it. John Fitzpatrick says, Marcella has more sense. Keep away this season. Big yourself up. Cody Max, guys, I watched the part of the stream again today. It was class, guys. Cody, it was a long one, 5 hours. A lot of people are angry. Why didn't I see you on, Cody Mac? I want to ask you that. Why didn't I see you on, Cody? You should have came on, my man. I wanted to hear from you. And Jack, we've one more super chat to get to here, and then we will crack on with the second half of the stream. Sammy Player says, Says, shame we are in the Conference League, boys, as Nuno get some easy wins to ease the pressure on him.
Yeah.
Does anyone really believe he will bring us back?
I'd like to think that he would, Sammy, as much as I probably have continued to criticize him maybe in the last few streams. But as well, though, I've to a degree been one of his biggest fans, before, the last, match. So I'd like to think that he can bring it back. I'd like to think as well that, he'd be able to maybe get through to the players on a different sort of level, on a different sort of way. Maybe he also, again, Sammy, at least again, he took the acknowledgement to say that, listen, I got this wrong. I got it wholly wrong. And so can't really blame him too much. Of course, we can blame him wrong for the tactics and everything, but at least he showed a bit of humility, is what I can say, Sammy. And maybe with that humility, which is maybe different from other managers in past, you might say that maybe that's what the players need. Of course, the managers or the players love another scapegoat. They don't like to put it on themselves. And maybe by Nuno taking responsibility, hopefully that maybe was a sign for the players. Like, listen, this guy will stick up for us. This guy, he'll take the blame when we probably deserve it. And maybe that's my hope. And yeah, like you said, maybe these Europa Conference League games can be that bit of motivation, maybe hopefully a bit of flat track bullying, but at the same time, it hasn't been easy in the Europa Conference League so far. So hopefully he can turn that around as well, maybe that form. But yeah, hopefully it can be a bit of flat track bullying for us.
No, 100%. And look, do I believe he'll bring us back? I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't think so at this time. I hope I'm proven wrong. I really do. But it's not looking like it, unfortunately, Sammy. But look, again, who else is out there? That's the next question. It's all well and good sacking your manager. Everyone was like, I don't care. Get Mourinho out. We can get Nagelsmann. We can get this. We can get that. Just, honestly, I think some people are playing Football Manager or FIFA. It's none of them names are ever going to come to Tottenham. If it wasn't working under Pochettino after the Champions League final, it wasn't working under Jose Mourinho, two greatest managers of the game, we were always going to struggle to get a manager in here because straight away managers, even rising managers, why would I put my reputation there? There's too many players there that don't give a shit. All these managers all talk to each other. Believe it or not, Nuno, Mourinho, and Poch, they're all friends, They all talk to each other.
Yeah.
And, so look, I don't know, Sammy. I don't believe it right now. Look, maybe if we give him a bit more time, maybe he can incorporate some style of play and a new system, whatever. But I wouldn't hang my hat on it anyway. That's for sure, Sammy. But big up, my man. Really, really appreciate the support. Everyone, make sure you keep smashing that like button. And if there's anyone new, why not smash that subscribe button? Feel free to do that as well, guys. But look, Jack, let's crack on with the next one.
Next one is just a bit of an animation, kind of describing what we were just describing, maybe how that Route 1 approach just absolutely killed us, David. And so this is just a bit of an animation for it. It's just going to kind of expose maybe a bit more of a 2D version, you might say, of just what happened here. It's a long ball in from Eric Dyer. Look at maybe what I just highlighted here, Dave. We see that same shape that we were talking about, right, Dave? 3 in the back there, Tomiyasu on Sonny, as well, Saka actually to a degree kind of pinning back Reguilon because Reguilon has to be wary, right? He can get exposed in this situation. Xhaka and Partey are right there to win that second ball, Dave. And then as well, Tierney is also getting ready to bomb forward. Smith Rowe, Odegaard right there, just getting ready as well, to be able to pounce on the counter. So let's say, the ball comes in from Eric Dyer. It gets won by Tomiyasu, which we saw the whole time. Then from here, look how quickly they can easily break, Dave, because we saw how many times it's either Partey, Odegaard, Xhaka, and then in this case, I allowed Saka, to be able to win, that second ball, right? And then this second ball, we look at actually how exposed that midfield is because we saw, as we highlighted before, Dave, look how far Tanguy got forward. Look how far Reguilon got forward. Look how far Dele got forward. Even Lucas as well. We even said I'm being a bit nice to Lucas in this scenario because Lucas was often even right in the middle right here as well when we even highlighted earlier. And so we could just see, look at how much space and green grass. This is what I was talking about, Dave, that green grass right in front of them. Saka is able to play 1-2 with Partey, and then Saka is just going to be burning him behind here. He also sees Odegaard. Look how many players he has to play here, Dave, and we saw this all day where they could just easily break from here. Xhaka and Partey, Dave, they didn't even have to really get that far up the pitch as well. They practically just sat right there, and they just played one of these players, one of these many players that they could easily find here. And so then what we find here is then they play Odegaard. Reguilon, like we're going to allow him to catch up in this scenario. And this is kind of now just a replay of that first goal that we conceded. And then Emile Smith-Rowe just plays it, just is able to just play it past Lloris there for a goal. And again, we'll just play it one more time here for you, Dave, maybe a few more. But I just feel like, it's just kind of highlighting what we were talking about, that green grass right in front of them, the situations where, they just had so many players, to be able to win that knockdown, so many players to win that second ball. And then from that second ball, Dave, they were so easy for them to break, just so easy for them to break as well. And, to a degree, it's actually quite impressive how many times Region actually tracked back, actually, despite, how much he loves to get forward. I think, again, Region has continued to prove himself as one of our most creative players, but also he's improved his defensive work this season as much as, Saka probably. Actually, when you think about it, Saka probably had, to a degree, maybe the hardest time out there. I think every Arsenal player had a very easy day that day, Dave. But when you think about it, actually, there were lots of times when Region was giving him a very hard time. And you do consider, though, that it just still was pretty awful to see these situations. And I think this is all very familiar to people, just how much space Arsenal had going forward. And also, again, we're even being nice in this scenario, I think, even replaying this goal. But it's just a bit of, a recap of what we were talking about plenty before, Dave.
No, look, what I will say, and again, it's a simple solution, Jack. You go to a 4-2-3-1. 1 second, I'll wait for it to go back to where I want it to go back to, and I'll get you to pause it. Is that possible?
Yeah. Tell me when.
Okay, no, so keep going. No, keep going. I'll tell you when. So right here. So pause it right here, right? So you have Højbjerg sitting here in the middle. Reguilon's bombing forward. Now, look, when you have Reguilon in the team, he also set up the goal, may I add. You're going to get him to bomb forward. It's the type of fullback he is. Now, if you have someone else slotting in here beside Højbjerg and sitting there beside Højbjerg, you can cover Reguilon going forward by getting your midfielder to cover the wing if the ball comes out that way, while Reguilon bombs forward. Now, again, it's just a simple tactical change. Put another body in beside Højbjerg, and that way you stop the threat Saka going in behind because you have a midfielder coming across to cover that. Dyer can pick up a Aubameyang, Dyer can pick up, who's this guy here? Odegaard, if he comes onto him. Sanchez can come across to a Aubameyang, and that way Tanganga's free to take the threat of Smith Rowe. It's simple. It's absolutely simple by putting an extra body in that midfield. Or Højbjerg can, or one of the other midfielder can come across and take Odegaard. And then say Højbjerg, if it's Skip that can take Odegaard, and Højbjerg can come across and take Saka. It's simple. It's the basics of football, Jack. It's simple. You put an extra body in beside Højbjerg, that whole attack there is stopped. It's all stopped because you have that extra midfielder to come across and cover Reguilon while he's bombing forward. It's simple. And then therefore, like I said, everyone else then picks up their man and you stop it from happening. It's literally that simple. One extra body in midfield, 4-3 or 4-2-3-1, and that doesn't happen. It's simple. And the first slide doesn't happen either, Jack.
No, it certainly doesn't. And again, it just comes again from that long ball in from Dyer, and with that long ball in from Dyer, we just see again, maybe what David was just describing. We just get absolutely outnumbered. Every time they won that second ball, we would just get absolutely outnumbered and just get completely flanked and just completely destroyed in the midfield. We just see how many options, Partey or Xhaka had in that midfield, Dave.
Yeah. No, look, Xhaka and Partey weren't going to get forward. So it's just about having that extra midfielder in there. You would have stopped all this attack. You would have stopped it dead before it even happened, just by putting Skip in there. Unbelievable. It's literally unbelievable. I can't believe it, especially when you're showing it to me like this. I just can't believe it. It's so simply avoided. How are they getting you have Odegaard here and Saka, both with a free run down the right-hand side. How is that allowed to happen? Dyer can't do anything because Aubameyang's come across to him. So, in fact, Dyer's now left with 3 players. But you put an extra midfield in there. Højbjerg comes across, which frees up Dyer to take one of the players, and then Sanchez comes across. And it's easily solved. Easily solved. It's absolutely shocking. But look, Ellie says, football used to be played for the love of the game. Now it's played for the love of greed. Look, I couldn't agree more. It's actually a perfect comment. They don't care like they used to, Ellie. Do you see footballers in pubs now mingling with fans like they used to when you were growing up watching them win trophies? No, they couldn't care less. They want to lock themselves away in their big mansion, and be playing Fortnite and whatever else it is. That's all they want to be doing. Couldn't care less about the average fan. Ellie, the minute we would start being called consumers is when we should have realised they didn't care about us. When they start looking at us as consumers is when we really should have realised they don't give a shit about us. They couldn't care less about us. What would you say, Jack Telly?
I think it's just a bit of a mic drop. It's almost kind of a bit of a Brian C kind of philosopher kind of moment here from Ellie. It's just really most of the players now, they don't really understand what it means to play for club. They don't understand what it means to wear the badge. They don't even understand the history of the clubs that they play for anymore. They don't understand what it means, especially when they're being paid 200K a week, driving white Range Rovers everywhere, Dave, and crashing them into in the back of cars like
Yeah.
Grealish did, in the past, and other players do. You kind of think about it, Dave. It's just like, where were the days when maybe they were just, finish a game and they would have to show up to the pub, they would have to show up to a restaurant, wherever it may be, and show their face to the players, actually have to show the shame or the pride, whatever maybe the result had been. They had to at least show themselves, to the fans and, maybe demand that respect back. And Ellie, I think it's just a bit of a mic drop moment from you as well. I think it's just a bit of a philosopher moment. I just wanted to quickly, maybe before we get back to John Fitzpatrick, maybe you don't rate Reggie, but all I got to say, if you think he's rubbish at defending, maybe just explain to me why he has the most tackles and interceptions in the entire squad combined. He has more tackles and interceptions than our entire squad. I mean, maybe you don't rate him. That's completely fine. But, you can't say that he's, the worst player or the worst defender on our team, because he has more he has tackles plus interceptions combined, the most in our entire team. So that's what I would just say.
He's just starting from yesterday. That's all it is.
No, not just saying. It's just a bit of maybe forethought.
Giving the stats for Jack. Well, it is a hybrid version of stats for Jack. George says, Jack and David, thanks for the stream. Come on, you Spurs. George, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to keep saying this. No need to thank us, guys. This is all about you guys. You don't tune in. You don't smash the like, subscribe, get your comments in the chat, engage with us, view in, help support us with the super chats and everything else. Our dream is crushed and this content wouldn't be here, So, look, it's all about you guys. You hold the key. But big up, George. Thank you for tuning in, my man. Thank you for tuning in. But, Jack, anything else you want to say, man?
I think we highlighted it perfectly there, Dave, especially you, maybe talking about how much we got overloaded. And again, it just shows maybe this is the image that we were talking about earlier, Dave, from that different angle. This is just it. And maybe an animation version. We just see how much Højbjerg got stretched and just practically exposed. I mean, look how much he had to cover, Dave, at times. It just is actually cruel. And so the next one is going to be Arsenal countering our right side. This one, I think, is actually something I think could have happened a whole lot more, but I just saw it really, really, really hurting us. There were times, Dave, when Emile Smith-Rowe was just picking it up in absolutely ridiculous space at times, just ridiculous space, ridiculous green grass in front of him. And so in this situation, again, it's just kind of actually where Lucas Moura in this situation, we saw Lucas Moura, he drifts inside, likes to come into the middle. We saw that, again, from that first, kind of still frame image that we had in the beginning. Lucas Moura comes in here. Unfortunately, he just kind of tries to play a 1-2 with Harry Kane. Harry Kane maybe, isn't able to play the pass back. Maybe Partey just in this situation just sees the pass and whatnot, able to win the ball back. And then we find ourselves where Lucas Moura is, in the middle of the pitch when he probably should be a bit wider to track back. Dele Alli is, again, practically higher than Harry Kane, which he was at times, higher than the striker. Tanguy, again, is just wandering himself forward, looking for wherever he left his burger. And then as well, we find where, Tierney, again, is just taking advantage of this, Dave, and it just has tons of grass in front of him, tons of space in front of him. And again, Aubameyang can pick whatever flank he wants, whatever hole he wants to be able to go through, as well as Emile Smith-Rowe. He gives it to Odegaard. Odegaard gives it to Tierney out wide. Tierney finds Emile Smith-Rowe. From there, he plays it to Aubameyang. And this is that moment where we saw in the beginning of the match, Dave, where, Aubameyang had that near post shot on Lloris. That was actually quite dangerous when we think about it. This is kind of a simulation of that goal to a degree, if you can remember that, when he had that shot, that was kind of, I think it went off the post or something like that, or it's just, a bit of a scary moment where he went for kind of a shot on Lloris in that situation. This is all that's really showing. Maybe I'll pause it at maybe that moment where I think that's super important here is where Lucas Moura is coming drifting in field. We again see how many players, Dave, we were putting forward, how many times, we were exposing ourselves in the situations. And of course, we're putting a lot of players forward. We're trying to play attacking football, but you can only do it, David, to a degree. You really can't. You can't expose yourselves in these situations. And we just saw again, where they were waiting for this situation where they would have, I'm not even kidding, Dave. I would see it where we would see 3 of Arsenal's players just waiting for this ball right here. Just any of them. They were like, give it to Smith-Rowe, give it to Odegaard, give it to Tierney, whichever one. You're going to be breaking from here. And then that's what they practically did. I mean, maybe I'll just play it, to the end here where Aubameyang, right, he had that near post shot and Lloris made a great save, but that was a very, very scary moment for me watching that game because it was terrifying to see that they had 3 different players, David, in this situation to play right here.
Yeah, look, that just doesn't look right. It just does not look right. Reguilon's so far away on the left-hand side. Look, I get it because the ball has been turned over by Arsenal and they are countering, but he does need to make a better effort to get in here beside Dyer, to be honest with you.
He does.
Look, Dyer, he's way too far off of Aubameyang. Sanchez cannot push up to Smith Rowe. So again, another midfielder in there would have solved that problem. It would have solved that problem. You had another midfielder in there. Højbjerg would still be here on Odegaard. The other midfield would be on Smith Rowe. Tanganga can deal with Tierney. Sanchez can come across to where Aubameyang is. Dyer can close the gap there. Reguilon can push inside a little bit. And attack is nullified. Attack is nullified. Again, it's just having that extra midfielder in beside Højbjerg. And I know I keep saying it for every slide, but when you see them, it's just crying out for that extra midfielder every single time. And that attack is stopped. Our players are so disjointed here. So disjointed. That's not right. That can't be allowed to happen.
There you go, Dave. I mean, there you go. I mean, to a degree, I just feel like, that right-hand side just got absolutely exploited in sometimes the worst sort of ways. And I just feel like Højbjerg, at times even had to predict, Dave, when you think about, where he would have to close it down. But again, like you can only maybe even push yourself so forward when you're practically the last midfielder back as well.
Yeah. I don't know. Sammy Player says, I think Reggie is poor compared to Danny Rose, though. They were the dream days with Walker and Rose bombing forward and decentish in defence. Yeah, no, look, they were dream days. I have to say, I really enjoyed them. Look, Danny Rose, one thing you have to say is he wore his heart on his sleeve, He always gave it his all, to be fair. He was never a player that I ever personally found wanting for just putting in a performance, you know what I mean? You could always rely on Danny Rose to put in a performance. Look, I can't get what people are saying about Reggie. But look, I wouldn't be basing your whole decision off of this game here. I really wouldn't be. Look, because what I would say is, right, this is just my interpretation, but once your midfield is disjointed, it's very easy to open up your defence. If you have a good midfield, and this has been proven by when Højbjerg, Skip and Ali were sitting deep enough on top of the defence, we were grinding out 1-0 wins. And Dyer and Sanchez look fucking unbelievable, right? And we all thought there was a turn in form. But when you expose the defence, you realise how bad they are because they can be got at. But again, it's not their fault because there's no protection in front of them. They're left exposed. You know what I mean? So it's a lot of what happened defensively is because it's a knock-on effect from what was happening in midfield. That's what I'm trying to say. It's a knock-on effect because they're being exposed. And there's nothing Højbjerg can do. There's nothing that any of the defence can do. But like I said, when you go back to 3-1-0 wins, look how far Skip Højbjerg, especially Skip, was sitting on top of the defence, more or less in front of the two of them, just protecting them. There was none of that. And because Arsenal counter-attacking and we were throwing too many men forward, Højbjerg was being dragged out of protecting the back four, and then that means they're straight in on the back four.
Yeah, there you go.
Sammy Jack.
I would just say that Poch, is known as creating, the best fullbacks, the best fullback coach in probably modern coaching history. I think that's been well documented, Dave. So as much as I love Danny Rose, as much as I loved, Kyle Walker, of course, even Kieran Trippier, he made them the fullbacks that they are today. And it's even not a coincidence that they practically have fallen a bit off that pedestal since, I'm working under Poch to a degree. So I would just say Poch made the best fullbacks in, Spurs history almost to an extent as well. He just is one of the best fullback coaches. He knows how to use his fullbacks. Even, at one point, PSG last season, I think his name was, it was like Dakbo or like something like that, or Dogba or something like that. And that guy, was like a PSG Youth Academy prospect. And he looked like one of the best fullbacks in the Champions League that one night, as a right back. So I just feel like, in Poch's case, he just makes fullbacks look absolutely brilliant. As much as I loved Danny Rose and I loved Kyle Walker, I loved Kieran Trippier, but I do think, it's also a huge credit to Poch for making them maybe the players that they were to a degree as well. That's what I would say.
100%. And look, big up Sammy Player. Thank you for the super chat, my man. I hope you enjoyed the answers. And John N with a donation here as well, my man. I really appreciate it. John, If you were supposed to put in a comment, my man, just put it in the comment section and we will get to it. But big up, everybody. Really appreciate the support. Make sure you are smashing that like button, guys. And Jack, any more slides for us?
Last one, just one more, I think, of us, just getting kind of countered in the right side, Dave. In this situation, it's Højbjerg kind of cycling again. It's Lucas drifting in the middle. And again, this is just what was painful is I don't even know if it's Lucas's fault, Dave, because the reason it's not Lucas's fault to a degree is just because of how high Dele Alli was being pushed. Because then it just means every single time this right-hand side for us or, Arsenal's left-hand side, it's just going to be open for so many players. It's just going to be open for so many players to exploit because Dele's supposed to be also controlling that right-hand side for us. This is supposed to be Dele's area. Could be Skip's area if Skip was there, right, as well. So you just kind of think about it. If Lucas is going to drift inside and lose the ball, Dave, or if he's going to drift inside and someone else loses the ball, It just hurts us so much, Dave. And it's just maybe just going to be exploited just yet again here. And it's a bit of a 1-2. And then in this scenario, Smith Rowe, this was that situation where we saw Smith Rowe, Dave, in fact, was at one point, Dave, I think he practically took maybe 20 yards, 30 yards. It looked like, where it just green grass in front of him and he just sprinted forward with it in this situation. I'm trying to kind of highlight that moment, that kind of danger. If you kind of remember that, in the match where he was just driving at our defense and he had all those passes maybe highlighted in the bit at the end there, to be able to play. And I don't think he made the most of it if I remember correctly, but it just again shows maybe just this situation where Tanganga, I think even as well, if I look back at it, he tried to win the ball high up. Tierney plays a 1-2 to Smith Rowe, or I think it was even Aubameyang did a lovely layoff. I think what it was is to Smith Rowe. And then Smith Rowe, from there just drove up the pitch. It's just, I don't know. I don't need to dive too much further into it. It's just maybe another scenario where I just feel like we just got absolutely ripped apart on that right-hand side. I don't think it's even Tanganga's fault to a degree, Dave. I think it really just, again, was just the instructions of Lucas coming inside here and then Dele Alli, also just continually being practically as high as the striker and just hurting us in that regard.
Look, this is what I'm saying again. Look, you can't instruct Lucas and Dele to both be coming in and playing in the same space because that's what's happening here. Lucas picks up the ball. He's driving into the same space. Dele Alli's already on in the middle as well. And you feel sorry for Tanganga because it just left him exposed. It just left him completely exposed. You have no one out there on our right-hand side because they've all pushed into the middle and they're all trying to play in the same space. I don't understand it. And I feel sorry for Tanganga. And when, like I keep saying, when you already just leave one in midfield and you leave Odegaard and Smith Rowe up on him, what's he supposed to do? You're straight at the back four. And again, a reason why we lost the North London Derby. Not more I can say on that, Jack.
Yeah, it's just basically highlighting maybe more or less what we just said last time, David, maybe the last simulation. But that's about it for this one, I think, Dave. So that's the last simulation for tonight. I do think that's pretty much what we have, in terms of the whole show for this one. So really do appreciate it, everybody, as well, for maybe sticking along with us, you as well, giving your thoughts on maybe, what went wrong as well. But yeah, I think that's it, man. Maybe in terms of the tactical discussion of what went wrong. Hopefully you guys took something out of it about what went wrong, either in terms of a player, in terms of maybe instructions from Nuno, in terms of maybe just even the effort, of course, that we all saw. But I think also maybe the lack of effort that we saw from the players combined with maybe what we just saw in the tactics, Dave, or even just combined with where they found themselves on the pitch, just was a recipe for disaster.
No, it really was. It really was. And look, you really highlighted that one, Jack, I have to say. And I want to say thank you to you for putting that together. I found it very educational. I really enjoyed it, I have to say, and I really enjoyed the stream. Everyone in the chat, let me know whether you enjoyed it. Do you want to see more of maybe these post-match breakdowns and stuff like that? But I want to say a massive thank you to Jack, first of all, for everything he's done for today's stream. A massive thank you to you, the Harris Army, for tuning in. I know we started late today. I do apologize. But a massive thank you to you guys for tuning in. A massive thank you for you guys in the comments, as always. A massive thank you to everyone who put in a super chat today. It's greatly, greatly appreciated. You have no idea. And look, guys, all I can say is make sure you smash that like button. If you're new, make sure you smash that subscribe button. We do have a super chat here from D-Trex K. We'll get to that. David says, big up, Dave and Jack. Have a good night, lads. Good. I'm off to play FIFA now, my man. Big up, David. Zanuska says, great stuff. Well, not from the players, but from you guys, Jack and David. Come on, you Harris Army. Come on, you Flat Cap Army. Big yourself up, Zanuska. Really appreciate it.
Big up, Zanuska.
D-Trex Kane says, Regulon sucks. That's why Real sold him and bought Mendy. Please don't say his stats are good, because my eyes don't lie. His 1-versus-1 with Saka was pathetic. 1.5. I don't know what that is.
I think it's 1.5 seasons of shit or whatever he wants to say.
Okay.
I mean, David can respond to this. To be honest, here's what I'll say to you again. He has more interceptions than any other left back in the entire Premier League. I mean, what do you want to say to that? That's what I would say. Again, maybe he looks shit. Maybe he looks shit in the eye test. Maybe you're right. He looks shit in the eye test, but certainly don't say that the stats aren't good, because the stats are good. So maybe stats don't tell the whole picture. They don't, explain the whole story. Again, Serge Aurier, with stats looked like one of the best fullbacks in the entire Premier League, under Jose. So of course you only can take stats sometimes with a grain of salt. But at the same time, again, like, he had more interceptions so far than any other player in our entire squad, practically tripled any of our interceptions in our entire squad. So I would just say, maybe as a one-on-one defender, I probably agree with you. He's maybe not as great as maybe any other fullback, in our squad. Maybe he's not that spectacular, but I think he's actually been, by no means the worst defender in our team this season. And I don't think by all one of the worst players in our team at all this season. He'd be one of the last players I pick.
What I will say, D-Trex, is, look, he's better than Ben Davies. Way better than Ben Davies. Look, what I will say, and William has put it in here as well, William McKenzie. Look, sometimes his positional sense can be found wanting. But look, with the interceptions, right, he's the most interceptions in the Spurs squad. And that comes with being able to read a game. So he can read a game. This is the thing. His football IQ is high. He can read a game. And look, he can definitely attack. Look, maybe sometimes positional sense he can be lacking at. But look, when the midfield is so disjointed, it pulls the defence out. The thing is, right, if Reguilon is being asked to bomb forward, then like what Pochettino done, Nuno needs to have that extra midfielder in beside whoever is the CDM to cover him and cover out wide if he does go forward and the ball gets turned over. That's what that midfielder is there to do. That's why that extra midfielder is in there. And so either Nuno has to instruct him to stop bombing forward, and you will see a much better Reguilon, in my opinion, or else put the right cover in there to allow him to bomb forward, like Pochettino done. When Pochettino allowed players to bomb forward, right, he allowed his two wing-backs to get forward very wide and high. But he always had Wanyama and Dembele there to sit there and cover. So if anything did break and go down the wings, they were able to pull out, create a four across the back and cover the wings and stop everything from going in behind or down the wings. Look, I can understand the argument from both sides. I really can. I can understand it. Look, maybe
seeing eye test, he might look like, one-on-one defender, maybe as a seeing eye test. I probably could agree with you, but I would just say, the stats are good. I mean, I am going to say the stats are good. I can't lie about that. Again, they just are. But at the end of the day, you're probably right. Maybe from a seeing eye test perspective, we all are fully capable of doing a seeing eye test perspective. I think that's something that we're all blessed with, is being able to have eyes to watch the game. But I think also as well, it's nice to combine that seeing eye test with stats as well, because as much as we all can see things differently, we can all see things differently. And I probably agree with you that, maybe he's not the best one-on-one defender in that regard, but, as much as, you're seeing eye test maybe might be good enough for you, I would say I also like to combine it with stats as well.
No, 100%. And look, we'll take the super chat from Jason Bell and then we're ending off, guys. Jason Bell says, you keep up these analysis streams. Hopefully we can start having some where you show how we won. Yeah, look, that would be nice, Jason. That really would be nice. Look, maybe we missed our opportunity with the first three games, but being honest, we're only kind of getting used to it and seeing the capabilities of the tactical thing that we bought to be able to put these stuff together. And we're only getting used to the full capabilities of it now. I wouldn't even say we're anywhere near it, to be honest with you, yet either. But look, man, I really appreciate it. Thank you for the support. And it really shows that you enjoyed it. So thank you so much. And look, we're going to keep producing as much content as we can. We actually even want to ramp up the content and put out more if that's even possible. But big up, Jason Bell. Really appreciate it, Jack. What would you say to Jason?
Really appreciate the support, Jason. Really do appreciate the support as always. Absolute legend. And also, thank you for joining us. I think you joined us early for Flat Cap Bureau Talk for the watch along earlier. So, Jason Bell, just want to say, big yourself up. Really appreciate you. Absolute legend of the Harris Army. Absolute legend of the Flat Cap Army as well. Again, maybe, hopefully, we can maybe just all kind of maybe have a bit more of a of a relaxed stream in terms of, just talking about how we dominated an opponent and, how certain ways that we exposed the opponent and whatnot, instead of maybe talking about how it all went crashing down. And maybe next time we can be just singing a bit more, maybe doing instead our own kind of version of the Lachanga with each other, maybe talking about how we might be winning the next game against Villa. But yeah, honestly, I would say I really do appreciate the support, Jason Bell, as always. Do appreciate it.
No, 100%, Jason. What a top man. I really, really appreciate it. And look, Sammy, play in with one as well. He says, hopefully he has a better game against Philly than last time.
One of the greatest own goals of all time, I will say. One of the greatest, the best finish I've ever seen, actually. One of the best finishes I've ever seen. I mean, you would say, Dave, if you asked him to do that twice, wouldn't have been able to do it, that kind of situation. I think it was an outside the foot curler, Region against Villa at the top of our own box. He almost spinned it, it was like even those corner, kind of challenges where you try to, bend it in from the corner flag kind of situation. He put that much spin on it. Honestly, I would say one of the greatest own goals I've ever seen.
Yeah, look, 100%. Look, hopefully, all I can say is, look, they better put in a performance against Villa and beat them. They better. They owe it to us. It's as simple as that. They owe it to us. If not, international break coming up, 2 weeks. Could be looking for a new manager. Look, I think there's a lot riding on these 2 games. Tomorrow, we should be winning handy. If that's not one handy, I want some of the players' contracts terminated because some of them are just shit. And then, again, international break coming up. And I don't want to do this. This is the thing. Because I know, who's out there, but you can't keep going through this dismal shit either. You know what I mean? So it's about striking the balance. When do you pull the plug? When do you not? How much more time do you give them? It's a hard position to be in. But look, my man, hopefully we can do it against Aston Villa. And hopefully Reggie can have a better game as well, my man. But big yourself up. Really appreciate it. What a man, Sammy. And thank you for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Look, Harris Army, really appreciate you guys for tuning in. Absolute legends, as always. Stay safe. And we'll see you tomorrow back here at 9:30 tomorrow, guys. See you all then. As always, come on, you Spurs. We're all Tottenham till we die. No matter how much we're hurting, don't lie to yourself. We still love this club. Come on, you Spurs.
Come on, you Spurs.
Legends, every single one of you.